Welcome to the fantasy audiobook, Naruto, Sign in the Shadow clone at the beginning of Konoha. Chapter 41. The battle between Sasuke and Shiro continues. Naruto no longer paid attention. Sasuke's ability to think of a way to break through the ice barrier has exceeded Naruto's expectations. Looking at it again, there will be no bright content. After all, Sasuke's strength is only at the Chunin level, but Shiro is stronger than Zabuza. As long as Shiro attacks with all his strength, no matter how fancy Sasuke is, he can't get it done. Naruto secretly issued a signal, and Zabuza, who was hiding in the mist, began to act. Relying on the thick fog, Zabuza performed the silent killing technique, and easily got around behind Kakashi. The next moment, his beheading sword mercilessly slashed at Kakashi's back. A huge murderous aura enveloped the audience, and the workers couldn't help shivering. Sakura couldn't help trembling even more. The hands holding kunai were covered with sweat, and fell to the ground with a ping. Sakura, pick up your weapon to protect the workers. Kakashi gave a low snort, then pulled out kunai and turned around to block Zabuza's attack. The murderous aura that ordinary people can feel, how can Kakashi not notice it? Without hesitation, Kakashi lifted his headband, and under the hideous scar on his left eyelid was a scarlet eye. Kakashi was never worried about winning and not beheading. But what about after defeating and not beheading? How much chakra will he have left? How many enemies will be hidden in the fog? These are the top priorities. If the chakra is exhausted because of the battle, he will be unable to stop more enemies. As a veteran ninja, he knows how to reserve spare power at all times in case of emergency. At this moment, the three-god jade in Kakashi's riding wheel is spinning extremely fast, and the power has reached the extreme. He had to get rid of Zabuza at the lowest cost. Seeing Kakashi so nervous, Naruto, who was hiding among the workers, couldn't help but smile. Yes, this is also part of his design. In the original book, it is too reckless not to cut. When I came to the bridge, it showed that there were only two people, so that Kakashi could use his hands and feet with confidence. Now that the dense fog can be arranged in advance, Kakashi's pressure will definitely be infinite. After all, the unknown is the greatest fear. Take a knife from my uncle. If you don't cut a move, it will be eaten all over the world, and the ability of beheading the big sword in one-on-one is rare and not inferior to Sharingan. The beheading knife can absorb the iron in the blood of the enemy, so as to repair itself and absorb the blood to restore physical strength. It is regarded as an unbreakable knife. If you fight alone, you won't be afraid if you don't cut it. Especially with the silent killing technique, he is able to listen to the sound and judge the position, and his assassination ability is even more extraordinary. After yelling out intimidatingly, the beheading sword that did not cut again did not fall, but was hidden in the thick fog again. He received Naruto's order to defeat Kakashi's psychological defense, preferably to stun Kakashi. This will also facilitate the smooth implementation of Naruto's next plan. Relying on the silent killing technique, Zabuza's figure appeared in every corner of the workers from time to time, making Kakashi tired of running around. When Sharingan is fully open, the consumption of energy has reached the extreme. No way, Kakashi couldn't wait any longer. Otherwise, it is very likely to be dragged to death by Zabuza, let alone deal with other unknown enemies. Whoosh! Kakashi's figure flashed, his speed reached his limit, and he came to Zabuza in an instant. Zabuza found Kakashi's neutral position, and couldn't help but slash it, causing Kakashi's blood to fly all over the place. But in the next moment, whether it was Zabuza or Naruto, their faces were a little ugly. Naruto specifically asked Kakashi not to slash Kakashi again. It's not that Naruto feels sorry for Kakashi. It's simply because Kakashi has a psychic beast ninja who can lock opponents through blood. In the original book, Zabuza was broken through the offensive of the thick fog by this move. Not only that, but the most important thing is that when the 7th class was established, Kakashi asked Ninja Dog to smell the scent of Naruto Sasuke Sakura so that he could find it when he lost contact. At this moment, if Kakashi activates Spiritism, there is no doubt that Naruto will be exposed in the crowd of workers. With Kakashi's clever mind, it is easy to deduce the whole story. At the last time, clues will be found. Naruto looked at Zabuza complainingly, and showed a middle finger. The middle finger not only means cursing, but also means that the plan has changed. Buzan hurriedly restrained himself, pushing the dense fog to the extreme. Taking advantage of the dense fog, Naruto dashed out from the crowd of workers, and arrived at a far-away position in an instant. Immediately afterwards, he turned around and walked back. Kakashi, what happened? How did you get hurt? Naruto returned to his original appearance. It's an attack that doesn't kill you, but you'll be fine if you come back. Kakashi took out a bandage and wrapped it around his injured arm. With Naruto around, he could finally breathe a sigh of relief. Summoning the ninja dogs, all the ninja dogs swarmed up and locked Zabuza in place. Seeing Kakashi's hands forming seals, there was a faint flash of lightning. Naruto hurriedly said, Kakashi, you are already injured, leave it to me. As he said that, he rushed towards it first and then didn't cut it. Master Naruto, lighten up. No more begging, Naruto said impatiently. Whoever told you to sabotage the plan? I told you not to cut Kakashi, but you didn't listen. I was almost exposed, you bear it, this punch is not light. As the voice fell, a dark red tail gradually condensed behind Naruto. The tail seemed to be alive, and it turned into a fist in midair, and it smashed on Zabuzi's body with a slam. All the ninja dogs hurriedly unlocked the psychic and returned to the different space. If he was really hit by this punch, he would either die or be injured. Boom! Zabuza was hit by a punch, and the moment his figure retreated, a mouthful of reverse blood could not help but spurt out. Now, he only felt pain like bones falling apart all over his body. Without his control, the thick fog gradually dispersed, revealing the original bridge. On the other side of the bridge, Sasuke is fighting Shiro. To be precise, Shiro played with Sasuke. However, when he saw Zabuza injured and fell to the ground, his body trembled violently, and an astonishing murderous aura erupted from his body. This murderous aura came out almost substantially, forming bright red air fluctuations. Boom! This time, Bai didn't have the slightest bells and whistles. He quickly made seals, and a section of icicle was stuck in front of Sasuke. Before Sasuke could react, the icicle burst violently, blowing Sasuke several meters away in an instant. When Sasuke landed on the ground, he was already unconscious, and he didn't know whether he was alive or dead. In the next moment, Bai appeared in front of Zabuza, and hurriedly helped Zabuza up. If you don't kill my lord, are you okay? What happened? Bai asked with concern. Buzan waved his hand, and said weakly, it's all my fault that I didn't follow the plan, and I was injured by Master Naruto in order not to expose myself. Then, what should we do now? Bai breathed a sigh of relief, but his brows remained unchanged. Zabuza wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and continued, Master Naruto made a gesture just now, let's carry out the T plan. Plan T. Bai was slightly taken aback. Master Naruto means that the fake show is real. Naruto made 26 plans for today's events. Plan T is one of them. Naruto expected that he might be careless if he didn't chop again, but as expected, he guessed right. Making so many plans was supposed to be a precautionary measure, and Naruto didn't even want to use it if possible. It is also easy to understand the so-called fake show, which is to force real acting skills. Let Zabuza and Bai carry out the plot with the original work, resulting in a situation of one death and one serious injury. Of course, it is impossible to really let Bai die, but to use a flying needle to cause a suspended breathing for a short period of time. Okay. Naruto raised an eyebrow and held out a thumb. Ask Bai password. Zabuza and Bai replied with an, okay, gesture. Seeing this, Naruto's eyes suddenly became sharp. Kakashi, you go and bring Sasuke back, and Sakura is on standby to protect everyone. I'll get rid of them both. As he said that, he stepped on his foot, and his figure turned into a dark red light, rushing towards the direction of Zabuza and Bai. Careful, Sasuke's injuries were not deep. He stood up with his forehead supported, and seeing Naruto rushing forward, he couldn't help but sound a reminder. Seeing Sasuke get up, Kakashi said in a deep voice, you act alone, and I will find you after I finish. Now you go back to protect everyone, and I will cooperate with Naruto. As soon as the words fell, before Kakashi could leave, Naruto had already bumped into Zabuza's body. Boom! With a loud noise, a large cloud of dust was immediately raised. In the smoke and dust, the sound of ping ping pong pong erupted. You can feel the intensity of the battle just by listening to the sound. Especially the sparks produced by the collision of kunai are even more shocking. But even so, it's not over yet. I want you to die. Water escape water dragon bullet technique. No more shouting, and then the smoke and dust were dispersed by the water, and a huge water dragon roared. The ferocious dragon's head rushed out brazenly, rushing to Naruto's head with a bite. If hit by this move, Naruto will not die but will also be injured. In the next moment, the dark red color on Naruto's body became more and more intense. Roar. Naruto's roar is more tyrannical than the dragon's roar. The dark red clothes were like a windbreaker, draped over Naruto's body, pulling the wind without reducing his aura. Under the clothes, the four tails swelled rapidly, turning into 4 10-meter-long giant palms, and slammed at the water dragon. Eat my father's one move, Tathagata palm. Boom. The giant palm is facing the water dragon, which seems to be an unusual confrontation. But as long as someone with a rank knows who is strong and who is weak. Sasuke worried and urged, Mr. Kakashi, why don't you help? No need, everything is over. Kakashi shook his head helplessly. In his opinion, it's really annoying to compare people to others. As a genius in the eyes of others, Kakashi started faster than others, but Naruto was born at the end. With the ability to borrow the huge Nine Tails chakra, perhaps no one in the whole world can match Naruto's chakra. Don't look at the water dragon flaunting its power and looking unstoppable, but Kakashi knows in his heart that this is at best a B-level ninjutsu. The 4 giant palms that Naruto stretched out are not as dazzling as the water dragon, but they are all substantive chakras, and their energy intensity is stronger than that of the water dragon, not just a little bit. The result, of course, is self-evident. Boom. The water dragon was still baring its teeth and claws 1 second, and howling in the next second, and was smashed into pieces by the giant palm. Wow hoo hoo. The technique of water dragon bullet has completely turned into the technique of rainwater. It can only become drizzle, not even larger water droplets. Look, I don't need mine. Kakashi said helplessly, with a hint of lemon in his tone. Although Sasuke was shocked, he was still a little puzzled. Mr. Kakashi, how did you understand this battle? Open your Sharingan, and it will be clear at a glance. Kakashi said lightly. Sasuke nodded, and the black pupils instantly turned into double Gugama Sharingan. Immediately afterwards, his body trembled violently, almost falling to the ground. What is this thing? How can it be so evil, so powerful, so terrifying? Sasuke, who was supported by Kakashi, still couldn't help shaking. Kakashi shook his head and said, I won't talk too much about what Naruto didn't tell you. After all, this is the village's order. If you want to know, you can ask Naruto again after this matter is over. It is good. Sasuke nodded heavily and said no more. On the other side, Naruto smashed the water dragon with a slap, but didn't intend to stop. Seeing this, he hurriedly backed away. His expression changed drastically. Master Naruto, what do you want to do? Didn't you mention such a powerful move? Naruto snorted coldly. If it wasn't for your carelessness, it wouldn't have led to the current situation. You can't implicate Shiro even if you do a fake show, and you will suffer and enter a state of suspended animation. Buu-zan's expression changed drastically, and he quickly said to Bai beside him, You are my best tool, at this time, you will suffer for me. Bai nodded, without refuting, he took the initiative to float towards Naruto. Master Naruto, offended. As he said that, he quickly formed seals with both hands, and suddenly attacked Naruto. A series of ice needles then pierced Naruto's vitals. Bai, I'm your boss's boss. Are you resisting my orders? Naruto's Nine Tails chakra instantly burned up the ice needles. He couldn't help frowning. No matter what he did just now, he would not be angry, because Zabuza was his follower. This time, he was really angry. Although Bai is beautiful, he is disobedient and disobeys his orders, which he cannot control yet. Naruto didn't have a good opinion of such subordinates. Since you want to die, I'll give you a ride. Naruto snorted coldly, and Nine Tails' violent chakra rushed into Shiro's body. Master Naruto, stop quickly, Baihui will really die. Zabuza's expression changed drastically. Naruto said coldly, I don't need disobedient subordinates who will end up disobeying my orders, that's all. He can say good things about everything, but the betrayal of his subordinates, or such a critical moment, really chills him. Master Naruto, Bai also obeyed my order. I am willing to enter suspended animation according to the plan. Please let Lord Naruto let Bai go, and I will discipline him well from now on. He can no longer sit still, otherwise Bai's small body will most likely become a fool if he is hit by the Nine Tails chakra for a while. Now you know you were wrong. Then I will give you a chance. Naruto snorted coldly. Capital crimes can be avoided, living crimes are inevitable, let Bai enter into suspended animation. After this incident, find a doctor and perform reassignment surgery on him, so that he will completely lose his dignity, and understand that I am not easy to mess with. Quote. Thank you Naruto-sama for not killing me. Don't dare to say anything more, and put Bai into a state of suspended animation by taking advantage of the dust that is being stirred up at this moment. When the smoke and dust dissipated, Byu-zan half-kneeled on the ground with a sluggish expression, not to mention his body was in tatters, and red liquid slipped down, looking seriously injured and dying. Only Naruto knows that this is animal blood. Forced to act, it is naturally impossible to hurt Zabujan. With animal blood instead, it is almost enough to fake a serious injury. One dead and one seriously injured, this result made Kakashi and others very happy. Dasna took the lead in applauding, and all the workers also burst into applause. Naruto, great. Kakashi came to Naruto. Before Naruto could speak, he heard the applause of a siren. Not long after, a ladder appeared at the broken bridge, and a group of people climbed up the ladder and came to the broken bridge. The leader is a short, middle-aged man with dark glasses and a treacherous appearance. It is Kato, who is extremely wealthy. Surrounded by everyone, Kaden slowly came to Bai's body. Seeing Bai lying motionless on the ground, Kato was slightly startled, and then a smile uglier than crying appeared on his face. Boy, you were rude to me, now you will be punished and die. You deserve it. Kato cursed, while kicking Shiro's head. Boom. The mask was kicked into several petals and completely split. The section cut through the cute little white face. Kato, what are you doing here? Byu-zan narrowed his eyes slightly. Kato sneered, can't you see it now? It takes a lot of money and time to hire a regular ninja, so I hired a fugitive ninja like you. Now you have no use value, you are really a naive ninja. Where's the brat? Kakashi, I don't think I have any reason to continue fighting with you. Zabujan said in a deep voice. Hearing this, Kakashi nodded and stopped moving. After all, the two sides are only performing their respective tasks. After there is no conflict, there is no reason to do it. I saw Zabujan dragging his seemingly exhausted body, slowly walking towards Kato with a beheading knife. The murderous aura on his body almost condensed into a real blood demon, and his whole person was like a killing god. He was fortunate that he had reached an agreement with Naruto early on, otherwise he would really be played around by Kaduo, and the consequences would be disastrous. Get your feet off Bai's body. Zabujan shouted in a deep voice. Not only was Kato not obedient, but he stomped hard on his cute white face. The guy who is about to die dares to speak out loudly. Come on, kill this guy. Kill it, it's not certain who will die. Byu-zan rushed out brazenly, beheading Kaduo with a big sword. As for the hooligans brought by Kaduo, they didn't dare to get close to them. Just because if you don't cut the head with the big sword, you can kill a life with the sword in your hand. Seeing this, Naruto nodded to Dasna. Dasna took a deep breath and encouraged. Now is the best time to prove our courage, let's drive away these invaders together. Yes, the workers shouted in unison, expressing that the tools rushed towards the gangsters. The workers numbered at least 50 or so, while the gangsters actually numbered no. 20. The combat power formed a sharp contrast. Seeing the menacing approach of the workers, the gangsters couldn't help feeling their scalps tingle. At this moment, Byu-zan had already killed Kaduo, but he seemed to have no strength at all, and he couldn't even lift the beheading sword, so he could only bump into Kaduo abruptly, and the two fell off the bridge together. I can't imagine that the ghosts who are the 7 ninja swords will end up like this if they don't kill them. Kakashi sighed, feeling the sadness of the dead rabbit, and the fox inevitably surged in his heart. Yes, Naruto echoed, but there was only peace in his eyes. But to everyone's surprise, after falling into the water, Kato poked his head out of the water and struggled hard. Withdraw, withdraw quickly, I'm injured. Kato screamed and barely climbed onto the boat. The gangsters were already timid, and when they heard this, they rushed to the boat and fled in embarrassment. Seeing the ship going away, Dasna and the workers were extremely excited. Yes, they managed to drive Kato away with their own strength. As long as we work hard, we can still do it. Dasna said excitedly. Let's hurry up and build the bridge. Even if Kato comes back by then, we don't have to worry about it. It is good. The workers calmed down and returned to work. An aggression was resolved in this seemingly child's play and absurdity. Kakashi, Sasuke is seriously injured, let's go back too. With that said, Naruto came to Bai's corpse, hugged Bai, secretly took out the flying needle, and threw Bai and the beheading sword into the water. Just let the two of them be buried at sea together. PFF'd. Bai fell into the sea, and his figure was gradually submerged. Naruto and the others returned to Dasna's home. Anyway, there are no dangerous people intruding, and they don't need to keep guarding it all the time. As long as the bridge is completed, they can leave the land of waves and return to Konoha to submit tasks. When Naruto and his group left, a few bubbles appeared in the water. I saw a head slowly poking out of the water. It was Bai with a wound on his face. With a beheading knife on his back, he walked slowly in the direction of Kato's ship. Bai didn't seek revenge from Kaduo, but a meeting. No more chopping just now, was just pretending to be seriously injured. The actual state is still at the peak. How could he not be able to beat Kaduo? He pushed Kato into the water, pretending to die together, but in fact, he killed Kato in the water and then surfaced in the form of Kato. In this way, under the watchful eyes of everyone would think that if he didn't kill him, he died from exhaustion and that Kato was just lucky enough to survive. No one would notice such a trick. As for pushing Bai into the water, it also created a sign that Bai was indeed dead. Going into the water, Bai can destroy the real Kato's body and leave with a beheading sword. From now on, if Buzan and Bai confirm their deaths, there will be no pursuit from Wuin village. If Bujin and Beidai live as Kato's identity, they will be able to transfer a large amount of Kato's money for Naruto. That's the complete plan T. On the other side, after Sasuke received the treatment and lay down, Naruto used the excuse of going to the toilet, quietly cast the shadow clone, and let the shadow clone go and fight again. When his shadow clone found Kato's docked ship, there were only Zabuzin and Bai on board. Where are the others? Naruto frowned. Master Naruto, please rest assured, I am not stupid enough to kill these people. I gave them employment money, let them go back to rest first, and I can take this opportunity to completely bring out the news of me and Bai's death, explained. Naruto was slightly surprised. He didn't expect to think of this step again. He was really smart. Okay, since that's the case, let's review today's actions. Naruto sat on the main seat, scanning the two people below. Hearing this, Zabuzhin's expression changed. Ever since he saw Kato's true face, he was even more convinced of Naruto's power, so he was very panicked when he was forced to change his plan due to carelessness. Master Naruto, I know I was wrong, I will accept any punishment. No longer categorically. Your carelessness is secondary, mainly Shiro's problem. Completely disobeying my ideas, almost causing the mission to fail, this problem is the most serious. Naruto shouted in a deep voice. PFF'd. Without the slightest hesitation, Bai knelt heavily on the ground. Master Naruto, I accept all punishments. For the sake of your sincerity, I won't embarrass you too much. Just follow my previous punishment. Naruto suddenly showed a playful smile. The previous punishment? Bai was a little puzzled. He was corroded by the Nine Tails chakra before and he was unconscious, and he didn't hear Naruto's punishment. The corners of Naruto's mouth raised slightly, and he said word by word, I want you to undergo a reassignment operation. Reassignment surgery. Even Bai, who is not good at expressing, is full of surprise at this moment. That's right, it's reassignment surgery. Naruto snorted. I want you to lose your dignity and understand your situation. He said so, but Naruto didn't think so in his heart. It doesn't matter if Bai interrupted the action on the bridge just now, he can keep the plan going. Worst of all, he can even knock Bai unconscious again, use the shadow clone to cooperate with the transformation technique, and direct and act a good show by himself. Wanting Bai to become a girl was just an expectation in his heart. Punishment is nothing more than a suitable excuse. When he watched Hokage in his previous life, some people argued that Bai was a boy or a girl, and he was misled at first. After all, Bai is so cute, no matter how you look at it, he is not a boy. Even today, some people think that Bai is a woman. Then simply turn Bai Che into a girl, so that there is no need for controversy. The most important thing is that the white in front of Naruto's eyes is cuter and more beautiful than in the anime. He is afraid that he will fall into it and cannot extricate himself. From the bottom of his heart, he is still a pure man. How could he really like a boy? This awkward mood tortured him deeply. As long as he turns Bai into a real girl, his heart will calm down again. After all, boys like girls, it's only right and proper. Is this considered punishment? Bai hesitated. Hearing this, Naruto was stunned for a moment. Not a punishment, he didn't understand Bai's meaning. For a man, swinging a knife and becoming a eunuch from the palace is the most inhumane punishment. Could it be that Bai could think of a more unbearable punishment? Zabujan on the side explained. In order to allow Bai to be more focused on the task, I actually changed his gender a long time ago, in order not to show unnecessary flaws during the battle. What? Naruto stared at him with wide eyes, no longer caring about his image. He never thought that he would be so cruel if he didn't cut it again, and he cut off Bai a long time ago. No wonder Baihui looked so girlish, it turned out that he had changed gender a long time ago. However, for this matter, Naruto just wants to say, well done. No, how can you say that? After coughing lightly, Naruto murmured, well, Bai, take off your clothes and let me check. Don't look at me like that, I'm just confirming the facts, in case you deceive me. After a while, Naruto nodded in satisfaction and said, yes, it has indeed changed. Very good, since this is the case, let's forget about the punishment this time, and don't have another time, or I will never let you go, do you understand? Yes, I would like to follow Naruto-sama's orders. Bujin and Bai shouted in unison. Okay. You lead the Gold and Silver brothers to transfer Kaduo's property. You must act secretly. Don't make your own decisions. Everything will follow my plan. If there is any problem, please report to me in time. After Naruto explained, he quickly untied the shadow clone, turned into a white smoke and returned to the main body, and stayed for a while. He was afraid that he could not help but spit it out. At the same time, Naruto had just finished his lunch, and a flood of memories flooded his mind, making him more uncomfortable. Even, nosebleeds spurted out. Naruto, what's wrong with you? Sakura asked, slightly worried. She is not so repulsive to Naruto now. After all, Naruto has saved everyone this time, and the most important thing is to save Sasuke. She only has gratitude in her heart. It's fine, I'm fine. Naruto waved his hand, but his eyes were still straight, and the nosebleed kept flowing. He said, it's okay, you're bleeding. Did you have a dark wound in the morning battle? Don't bear it. If you have something, you must speak it out, and it can be treated in time. Sakura's brows were tightly furrowed, but she didn't relax. Naruto waved his hand. I'm really fine, I just suddenly thought of something happy. To be precise, it is exciting. The memory sent back by the shadow clone is full of pictures of checking Bai. Needless to say, the reassignment surgery in Naruto world is even more domineering than that in Thailand in the previous life. Strong yuppie. To put it bluntly, she was a girl, and Naruto believed it with all his hands up, almost without the slightest flaw. Bai, what a lovely girl. Time flies. A month later. Sasuke's injuries are completely healed, and the Nami Bridge is finally completed. Today can be said to be an auspicious day with a lot of good things, and it is very suitable for ribbon cutting. At 9 o'clock in the morning, on the bridge, an endless stream of people walked on the bridge, not only workers but also townspeople. Since Kaduo was beaten away, the people have regained their original vitality and are full of vigor. Everyone's face is covered with happy and joyful smiles. Dasna stood at the main seat and said, everyone be quiet, and say a few words after listening. As soon as these words came out, all the people walking on the bridge stopped. This bridge, this hope, was brought by Dasna. At this moment, Dasna is in the hearts of everyone, even far surpassing the name of the Kingdom of Waves. Seeing the silence, Dasna nodded in satisfaction. Today is a special day. Our bridge is finally completed. Thank you workers and people for your support all the way. Each of you has contributed a lot. Clap clap clap. Thunderous applause erupted immediately below. Dasna waved his hand to signal for silence, and continued, "Of course, the most important thing is the ninjas of Muya village. It is their help that allowed us to drive away Kato, regain our confidence, and regain our courage and self. Among them, Naruto Uzumaki's performance particularly touched me, so I want to announce two things. First, I sincerely hope that this bridge will be named after Naruto, and it will be called Naruto Bridge. Second, 10 yen will be given to Naruto for each bridge toll. Actually, you all know that I didn't have the money to hire Konoha ninja, so I concealed the situation. But Naruto didn't abandon me, and even led the ninja adults to accompany me until the bridge was built. I think these two things are completely unreasonable. What do you think?" Dasna looked at everyone. Without the slightest pause, the following people expressed their opinions one after another. Agree. No problem. Must accept. The vocabulary is varied, but the meaning is very unified, that is, to promise these two things. Naruto, who was standing on the side, was speechless. He had indeed made a condition to Dasna, but he didn't expect that Dasna would say such a thing. After some remarks, all the people would be able to accept the matter. Sure enough, at such an advanced age, Dasna is not a fuel-efficient lamp, old fox. But since the promise has been fulfilled, Naruto will not care about the process. After the ribbon cutting, the bridge was successfully named Naruto Bridge. Immediately afterwards, many children rushed forward, headed by Inari, who all came to find Naruto for his autograph. They have all seen or heard Naruto's feat of single-handedly taking on bad guys. To kids, Naruto is like a real hero. Naruto is not easy to refuse, and it can even be said that his heart is full of pride and joy. It turns out that this is what it feels like to sign someone's signature, isn't it? Naruto's mood gradually became complicated, and his face gradually collapsed. It was smug at the beginning, but after signing for a while, it became boring, and he wished it could end sooner. But it was over an hour later. However, because of being delayed by the children, Naruto was a blessing in disguise, only to hear the long-lost system prompt sound in his mind. It was detected that the host stayed on the Naruto bridge for an hour, the check-in was successful, and the reward. It is detected that the host stayed on the Naruto bridge for an hour, and the check-in is successful, and the resurrection coin won will be rewarded. Ha! Resurrection coins. Hearing the beep, Naruto was dumbfounded. He quickly opened the system backpack and saw a coin inside. The golden coin is only the size of a bowl, and the lines on it are not complicated, it looks like a dog's head. Just the introduction of the golden coin, just the 3 characters of the name, made Naruto very excited. Resurrection coin. That's right, this is the item in DNF that can be resurrected immediately after death. At this moment, Naruto's excitement cannot be expressed in words. All sign-in rewards cannot compete with resurrection coins for importance. After all, it's a life. A chance to come back intact no matter how you die. After being excited for a while, he closed the system backpack. System, why is the reward so generous this time? Naruto was still puzzled. The sign-in rewards were all related to it, how could he get such heaven-defying props after signing in on the bridge? The Naruto bridge was built because of the host, and you gave the bridge a new life. Hearing the system's explanation, Naruto nodded suddenly. In short, it is because of him that there is Naruto Bridge. Naruto, it's time to go. Sasuke's call came from not far away. Naruto waved farewell to Datsuna and the others, and the Naminokuni Commission this time has finally come to an end. Returning to Konoha, Kakashi went to submit the task, and the others disbanded in place. Let's go together and have a good meal. Naruto tugged at Sasuke. Yeah, this is my first time going out on a mission. My mother will definitely prepare a sumptuous meal for us to clean up the dust. Sakura echoed. Taking this opportunity, you can also mention the matter of becoming your son-in-law. Naruto winked at Sasuke. It's okay. Sasuke nodded thoughtfully. After the mission of the Kingdom of Waves, he felt more and more that he was not strong enough. Especially after seeing the strength of Kakashi's Sengoyu Sharingan, he wanted to upgrade Sharingan more and more. He must get the bond as soon as possible to stimulate Sharingan. In order to avenge Uchiha, he can use anyone. The 3 of them came to Chunya's house together, and when they saw the 3 who had returned safely, Chunoya greeted him with a smile. It's considered to be back, come in and rest. After entering the house, Haruno Mebuki was busy cooking. Haruno Jiaochu was not at home, and there were only 4 people at the dinner table. Haruno Mebuki looked at the crowd and said, "That's right, they all look more mature. Sakura, why don't you introduce me?" Introduce? Sakura was startled for a moment, then she reacted and said quickly, "This is our class companion, I mentioned it to you, Sasuke Uchiha." It turned out to be Sasuke, a handsome young man, and we must get along well with Sakura in the future. Haruno Mebuki nodded in satisfaction. Xiao Ying couldn't help complaining. "Mom, you just said this. Aren't you the one who loves to accept sons and sons-in-law the most? Why don't you mention it? What are you talking about? Sasuke is so good, how can he like you, silly girl?" Haruno Mebuki reached out and tapped Sakura on the forehead. "Auntie, I think Sakura is pretty good, but actually..." Sasuke stood up and said, "Actually, I came this time to mention it. I want to be your family's son-in-law." Xiao Ying suddenly showed joy, but before she could speak, Haruno Mebuki smiled and said, "You don't need to help Xiao Ying make things right, she is not worthy of you, sit down and eat." Hearing this, Naruto on the side said lightly, "Sasuke, eat." "It's okay." Sasuke hesitated for a moment, but followed Naruto's arrangement. After eating, leaving Haruno's house and walking for a while, Sasuke couldn't help but said, "Naruto, why did you stop me just now?" Naruto put his hands in his pockets, and said casually, "Can't you see it? Haruno Mebuki obviously doesn't want to have anything to do with you." "Why?" Sasuke was puzzled. "I can't figure it out either. Wait for me to observe, and you should work hard to cultivate first." Naruto waved his hand, but his body suddenly trembled, and a large memory was transmitted to his mind. Sure enough, there is a problem. Naruto narrowed his eyes. When he was eating, he noticed the strangeness of Haruno Mebuki, but it was hard to say clearly. Just before leaving, he deliberately left the shadow clone, and let the shadow clone transform into an object to prevent being noticed. Originally, he thought it would take a while to see the clues, but he didn't expect the shadow clone to come back so soon. In the memory, the strangeness of Haruno Mebuki appeared. After eating just now, Sakura and Haruno Mebuki quarreled for a few words, then went back to the room angrily. Haruno Mebuki, who was alone in the living room, couldn't help muttering to herself, "This silly girl doesn't know my good intentions at all. Uchiha has been targeted by Anbu long ago, otherwise how could I refuse?" She got up and took out a pen and paper to write a letter, and after secretly throwing it outside the room, she sighed again. "Oh, the most pitiful thing is Naruto, whose every move will be monitored by the Anbu, and I don't know what Danzo wants to do." "What?" Seeing Chunye Yafe go back to the room to rest, the shadow clone sneaked out of the window and picked up the letter paper on the ground. He didn't open the envelope directly, so as not to touch the mechanism. He chose to use Sharingan to cooperate with the sun to see the text inside. The content is very simple. It is to report the news of Naruto's return and his physical condition. So far, the memory is all over. After absorbing all the information, Naruto made a simple analysis and came to some conclusions. Danzo is afraid of Uchiha's Sharingan power. How dare Haruno Mebuki get involved with a dangerous person like Sasuke? And Haruno Mebuki dared to accept him as his son, and it was clearly Danzo's order to be responsible for supervising his changes. Presumably Danzo was afraid of Kyuubi, worried that Kyuubi would run away. Of course, it is also possible that Danzo wants to take the power of Nine Tails as his own, just like occupying Uchiha's Sharingan. In short, Danzang stared at him, and there must be no good. Old guy. Naruto gritted his teeth. To say that in Hokage, Naruto's most hated character is Danzo. This old thing takes everything he wants, becomes Hokage with absolute strength, and leads Konoha village. The original intention was naturally good, but this spirit of sacrifice was unacceptable to Naruto. It is obvious that everyone can prosper together, but if you insist on individual heroism, persecuting this and that every day, Danzo really thinks he is a Superman. "Naruto, what's wrong with you?" Sensing Naruto's strangeness, Sasuke couldn't help asking. "It's nothing, just an old dog is annoying, I can solve it myself." "No, you can solve it." Naruto, half-spoken, suddenly changed his tone, and there was a playful look in his eyes. "What's the matter?" Sasuke frowned and said, Naruto said such a riddle, how could he understand it? To put it simply, it's about your Sharingan, Naruto said with a playful smile. He suddenly remembered that Sasuke didn't need to stimulate the evolution of Sharingan at all. After all, Danzo is a Sharingan with one arm. Sharingan, Naruto, what good idea have you thought of? Sasuke's eyes lit up. Although Naruto's method is very damaging, but this kind of ingenuity can always reap miraculous results. His Shwanguyu Sharingan is the best proof. Shut other people's eyeballs, haha. Naruto laughed playfully. Danzo's arm of Sharingan is enough for Sasuke to change several times. As for distressing Danzo, non-existent. Not to mention that Sharingan is originally Uchiha's thing, but Danzo is an old thing who tricks people everywhere, and this time he sent Haruno Mebuki to monitor him. Naruto will never end this matter. Don't kill Danzo, this old guy. Naruto doesn't have the surname Uzumaki. Button eye beads. It has been recorded in the family that you can get Sharingan by replacing other people's eyes. But the Uchiha clan is gone, so how can you find eyes? If you say you can find me a pair of colored contact lenses, it is better than button eyes. More realistic. You don't know this. In fact, the Sharingan of Uchiha's dead tribe has been preserved intact. Naruto said meaningfully. What? Saved? Why didn't I know? Sasuke was suddenly shocked. Naruto waved his hand. There are countless things you don't know. I told you about this mainly because I want you to practice diligently. It is best to use your own strength to regain Sharingan. Naruto can naturally help Sasuke, but this is not conducive to Sasuke's growth. If there is an injustice and a debtor, it would be good for Sasuke to recover it by himself. Besides, Naruto doesn't have the confidence to fight Danzo yet. Danzo is not fighting alone, and has the support of Anbu. Today's Naruto is not afraid of ninjutsu attacks, but when it comes to illusions, he is not enough to watch. The most important thing is that if Danzo can't be killed in seconds, and Danzo spreads the news, Naruto may have to become a fugitive ninja in the future. He didn't want to take the risk yet. It won't be too late to solve Danzo after his kaleidoscope reproduces the magical skills. Now, as long as he behaves safely and the situation reported by Haruno Mebuki does not show any clues, then there is no need to worry about Danzo's calculations. Just let Danzo have a good time for a few days. I will definitely work hard. Sasuke clenched his fists tightly, eyes full of eagerness. He believes that Naruto will not lie to him, and he just needs to work harder. Okay, you go to Kakashi and ask him to teach you a few tricks. He has thunder attribute chakra. If you go to Ruanmoingpao, you will probably gain something. Naruto showed Sasuke the way. He remembered that Sasuke's Chidori was transformed through Kakashi's Reikiri. Okay, then I'll go. Sasuke's figure flashed, and he walked away quickly. Naruto also quickly returned to Haruno's house. Of course he didn't confront Haruno Mebuki, he wasn't stupid enough to expose himself. This time, he was looking for Sakura. Kakashi and Sasuke are both taciturn people. They had Naruto's advice before, and they would not casually say Naruto's strength. But Sakura is different, she is just a simple little girl. This time Naruto and Naruto are showing their strengths. Sakura will slip up sooner or later. It would be bad if Haruno Mebuki reported it to Danzo. Quickly came to Sakura's room. Sakura also sulked on the bed because of Haruno Mebuki's polite rejection of Sasuke. Sakura, I have something to tell you. Naruto smiled and stepped forward. Tell me if you have anything to say. Xiao Ying pouted, with the word, anger, written all over her face. Then I'll just say it straight, don't tell my mother about the actions of the Boji Kingdom this time. Such a dangerous thing happened this time, and I almost lost my life. My mother will still be worried if I tell her about it. Let her save it. Heart. Naruto cut to the chase. Humph. Xiao Ying snorted coldly, and said angrily, I don't care if she is worried or not, she doesn't care about my happiness. Look at what you said, our mother is also doing it for your own good. Sasuke and I are in a different situation. Sasuke belongs to the Uchiha clan, which used to be a famous family. Our mother is also afraid that you will suffer with Sasuke. Naruto comforted. I'm not afraid of suffering. My mother just doesn't care about me. It's fine when I'm eating, and I don't care about me if I keep on pinching meat for you. The more Xiaoying said, the more angry she became. Naruto stepped forward and rubbed Sakura's pink hair. That's because he really cares about you. You are not allowed to eat meat because you are a girl and you should pay attention to your figure. Besides, you are not afraid of hardship. What are you complaining about now? Why are you so angry? If you are really married, it will be a trivial matter of life. If you are so angry, Sasuke may think you are troublesome. Ah, what should I do then? As soon as Sakura heard the word Sasuke, her arrogance disappeared, and she instantly turned into a frost-beaten eggplant, completely wilted. It's very simple. Become a well-educated lady of everyone, and do things from a small point. For example, if you don't get angry, ask our mother to apologize and admit your mistakes. There is also the matter of the country of waves, which means that it is easily solved by Mr. Kakashi. Let's rest assured. Naruto induced. You think, when you get married in the future, you don't want to tell Sasuke anything bad. After all, that will only make Sasuke worry. Think about it, is this the truth? It's true, then I know. Sakura nodded thoughtfully. Seeing that Sakura had listened, Naruto left in peace. Hey, it's better to move out of Sasuke, everything can be solved. After leaving Haruno's house, Naruto shook his head helplessly. He couldn't figure out why he didn't have the charm of Sasuke. It is said that he now controls the power of the 9 tails, his beard has disappeared, his face is white and clean, with yellow hair and blue eyes, he looks like a Western nobleman, very heroic. Based on the aesthetics of his previous life, everyone thinks he is more handsome than Shanru at the moment. Why didn't she attract Sakura? He really couldn't figure out why. However, not far away, he saw a group of people, the 8th class led by Shi Yanghong. After looking up and down, Naruto nodded slightly. She has long black wavy hair, fair skin, mysterious and alluring red pupils, and an explosive figure. It has to be said that Shi Yanghong is a beautiful woman, even called a vixen. It is not an exaggeration, her charm is full. Naruto, long time no see, did you come back after performing a mission? Inuzuka laughed and ran forward quickly. Well, I just came back. Naruto nodded. Seeing the teeth, he felt a little upset. He hadn't eaten a few times before betting on meals for about a month. By the way, what do you think I am inferior to Sasuke? I'm talking about appearance. It happened that someone came and asked by the way. But what Naruto didn't expect was that Inuzuka closed his eyes and approached him. Seeing this, Naruto could barely control his fist. Fortunately, Inuzuka Tooth spoke in time. I smell no difference, you smell better than Sasuke. Forehead. Hearing Kiba's reply, Naruto was speechless. The way of dental aesthetics is also weird enough. As expected of a man who hangs out with dogs. Naruto, why do you think so much? Strength is the most important thing. Inuzuka Teeth dissuaded. Hearing this, Naruto was extremely speechless. At this moment, Inuzuka made it clear that he was a child at heart, and he didn't understand the higher level of men and women. No wonder Inuzuka in the original book has been buried, alas. Forget it, there are so many girls, I ask you why. Naruto shook his head helplessly, pulled Inuzuka aside, and walked in front of class 3 alone. I remember you are Naruto from class, why, Kakashi is back. Sunset Red asked first. Yes, we just came back today. Teacher Hong, why are you still accepting people from the 8th class? Naruto turned his eyes and asked back. You're asking that? Shi Yanghong was puzzled. Naruto smiled. You are so good looking, and there is a cute Hinata in the class, who wouldn't want to come. Go out with you, what a face. Small mouth is quite sweet. Shi Yanghong covered her mouth and smiled softly. I also hope that you are in our 8th class. Taking a handsome guy like you out is much better than Daiya and Jinai. Ha ha, Naruto suddenly felt better. On the other hand, Ya and Shino both drooped their heads, like a defeated rooster. By the way, Hinata, how do you think I compare with Sasuke? Naruto walked towards Hinata. Hinata's face was rosy. She lowered her head and didn't dare to look at Naruto. The way she twirled her fingers was very cute. Naruto-kun, you are the most handsome. Hinata's voice was barely audible. She turned around and ran away after speaking. Looking at his appearance, Naruto couldn't help but smile. Sure enough, compared to Sakura, Hinata is the cutest. But before he could catch up, Hinata, who ran out, suddenly bumped into something and fell. It hurts, don't you have eyes? A yell came from in front of Hinata. Hinata got up and quickly apologized. I'm sorry, I didn't pay attention, are you okay? She's a pretty standard girl, but if she does something wrong, she's doing something wrong. What's the use of apologizing? The other party laughed, and was about to reach out to grab Hinata's collar. Stop it, be careful and be punished for a while. The woman next to the man spoke. Training, I'm afraid you think less. After a cold snort, Naruto approached quickly, and he had already seen the two of them clearly. The man Hinata bumped into was wearing a black one-piece suit, carrying a puppet covered in bandages, with purple patterns printed on his face. The woman next to the man was wearing a white mesh dress, carrying a huge fan, and her yellow hair was tied into 4 small braids, which looked playful. Looking at the forehead guards they wear, they are undoubtedly ninjas from Sand Ninja Village. It's Kankuro and Temari. They appeared here. Without thinking too much, Naruto knew that the Chunin assessment was about to begin. The Kingdom of Waves wasted too much time, causing Naruto to come back to the chapter of the Zongnin assessment. Naruto didn't think there was any problem with this. All he cared about was Hinata. Hinata, are you alright? Coming to Hinata, Naruto asked with concern. Naruto-kun, I'm fine. Hinata shook her head. Panic was written all over her little face. It's fine, you can go back with teacher Xianghong, I can take care of it here, don't worry. With that said, Naruto stood in front of Hinata. What Hinata wanted to say, Kankuro said coldly, HMPH, is this Konoha's ninja? Before the annoying guy comes, I'll play with you guys first. Fool, how dare you bully Hinata? Inuzuka Tooth suddenly rushed forward. Kankuro smiled coldly and moved his fingers slightly. In the next moment, Inuzuka felt his legs were bound, and he staggered and fell to the ground, extremely embarrassed. What was that just now? Inuzuka's expression changed. The unknown is often the scariest thing. What? It turns out Konoha's genin is so weak. Kankuro sneered. Inuzuka got up from the ground and roared. No matter who you are, if you dare to be rude to our 8th class, I will not spare you lightly. You are so annoying. Kankuro put on an unfriendly smile, clenched his fists and said, I hate stinky brats, and you are obviously younger than me, and you are so arrogant, you want to be completely destroyed. Oh, I don't care. Temari shook his head helplessly. She knew what Kankuro meant very well. The stinky brat who wanted to destroy was not only Inuzuka but also Gaara. Wait until I get rid of this little girl, then I'll get rid of you. Kankuro snorted coldly, raised his hand and grabbed Hinata again. Boom! With a loud noise, Kankuro flew upside down for several meters and hit a big tree, and even the big tree was knocked out of a groove. Cough cough. Kankuro couldn't help coughing violently, and blood spurted out from his mouth. You boy, what's going on? Kankuro narrowed his eyes and looked ahead. It was none other than Uzumaki Naruto who shot. Who allowed you to attack Hinata? If you dare to act recklessly, I'll kill you. Naruto snorted coldly. Not to mention that Hinata has already apologized. Even if Hinata has not apologized, he will not allow anyone to be rude to Hinata. Such a cute girl, I really don't know how Kankuro can do it. Kankuro has touched Naruto's bottom line. Another annoying brat. Kankuro struggled to his feet, with resentment and gloom in his eyes. Then let's deal with you first. I hate you, a stinky brat who can only play tricks. After the words fell, Kankuro flicked his hand, and the bandages flew all over the place. Seeing this, Temari's face changed slightly. Hey, you won't be using crows, will you? Kankuro snorted coldly, and the puppet behind him fell to the ground, but before he could make a move, he was stopped by a voice. Kankuro, stop, disgraceful fellow. Kankuro shuddered and looked up at the tree. I saw a person hanging upside down on the tree. His feet were absorbed by chakra, very handsome. He was dressed in black mesh clothes, carrying a huge gourd that was almost as tall as a man. Under his eye-catching red hair, he had a pair of gloomy pupils with thick dark circles, and the traditional Chinese character, love, was written on his forehead. A person with so many characteristics, Gaara is the only one in the entire Naruto world. Gaara. The anger on Kankuro's face instantly dissipated and turned into a mocking smile. He tried his best to argue. Listen to me, Gaara, these guys came up to make trouble first. To shut up. Gaara spoke calmly. But just one sentence made Kankuro sweat profusely, and his expression was particularly tense. Kill you. Gaara narrowed her eyes slightly, and said the most shocking words in the most flat tone. Yes, I understand. Sorry, I'm really sorry. Kankuro stuttered instantly, flustered to the extreme. Tamari on the side didn't speak, but his face was full of nervousness, for fear that Gaara would riot. Seeing that the two were honest, Gaara turned to look at Naruto and the others, and said flatly, I'm really sorry for you. Hearing this, Naruto waved his hand. Since I apologize, let's forget about it. He didn't realize Gaara was so polite after watching anime. At least better than Sasuke's second disease. It's just that the dark circles under the eyes are too heavy and need to be treated. Seeing Gaara and his party leave, Xianghong disbanded the team and returned to Sandai. Yeah, you were really inferior just now. Jinai said lightly, turned around and left. I can do it too. Inuzuka followed and left, looking for Shino's theory. Only Naruto and Hinata were left at the scene. Hinata lowered her head and said, Naruto-kun, thank you. It's a small matter, with me here, I won't let you be wronged. Naruto laughed, reaching out and ruffling Hinata's hair. Hinata's face was even more rosy, like a bunny. Naruto-kun, I'm leaving first. Hinata hurriedly left. She was afraid that if she stayed any longer, her heart would jump out. Cute little girl. As soon as Naruto put a smile on the corner of his mouth, it froze. This guy came very fast. In a blink of an eye, he quickly disappeared. In the woods behind Hokage Rock, Naruto jumped up several times and landed under a tree. There was a person standing under the tree with fairer skin than a woman. Oshimaru, you actually dared to show yourself with your true face, you are quite brave. Through the servant's contract, he sensed that Orochimaru was nearby, so he hurried over. I'm still looking for a fake body. I'm going to find a ninja to join the Zongnin assessment. I didn't expect you to arrive. Naruto-kun is really powerful. In Orochimaru's slender vertical pupils, a soft light rarely appeared. Naruto doesn't care about the Chunin assessment, he only cares about one thing. Oshimaru, how is your research on immortality going? Hearing this, Orochimaru showed embarrassment. This technique is too difficult to construct. One of the purposes of my visit this time is to possess the body of Uchiha Sasuke. According to the information I collected, his body has more potential than Itachi. If it can be obtained, the progress of research on immortality can also be accelerated. Sasuke, forget it. Naruto shook his head helplessly. I know you are in the same class as him, but in order to study eternal life, it is also necessary to sacrifice the ego. You won't be moved by compassion. Orochimaru raised an eyebrow slightly. Naruto waved his hand and said, you think too much, because your mental body doesn't allow it. Now Sasuke is too weak, and it's useless to occupy it. Outsiders can't realize Uchiha's potential. But if you want to occupy Sasuke's perfect body, you need Sasuke to grow up. At that time, you will not be able to control Sasuke at all. This is not the first time you have tried the power of Sharingan. I transplanted Sharingan to Danzo, and obtained a lot of data. I don't need Sasuke's perfect body. As long as Sasuke has 3 hooks, it is enough for me to study, so that I can control it. Orochimaru thought about it. PFF'd. Naruto couldn't help laughing out loud. All you have collected is Danzo's data. The real Sangoyu Sharingan is far from as simple as you think. Why is Naruto-kun so determined? Orochimaru frowned and said, science is all about data, even Naruto can't make false statements. Because I have it. Naruto took out the Sharingan contact lenses from the system backpack. I know you have it, but yours is just a jade. In the middle of speaking, Orochimaru's words were swallowed back abruptly. I saw that Naruto's blue pupils had turned into scarlet, and it wasn't just one sapphire spinning in his eyes, but 3 sapphires. In just over a month, a single Guyu can become a Sangoyu. Even the best genius of Uchiha may not be able to do it. This is simply appalling. Naruto-kun, as expected of you. Orochimaru was speechless. For a while, he couldn't think of a more exciting adjective. Do I have the right to speak now? Naruto smiled lightly. After a moment of silence, Orochimaru nodded slightly. Since Naruto-kun thinks I can't control it, then I won't force it. It's a pity that such a good material. It seems that I can only make another plan in the Chunin exam. You don't need to be so troublesome. Among the Chunin assessment personnel, none of them are suitable for you. In fact, you have already encountered suitable materials. Naruto said deeply. Who is it? Orochimaru didn't remember such a number one person. It's the guy from Akatsuki who wears a mask and calls him a fae. Naruto called his name directly. Orochimaru frowned suddenly. Unexpectedly, Naruto-kun knew about the existence of the Akatsuki organization. You really know everything. It's just that a fae is just an intern of the Akatsuki organization. What's so special about it? You have been in the Akatsuki organization for so long, and you haven't collected this information. Fae is actually Obito Uchiha, and he has already opened the kaleidoscope Sharingan. Naruto said helplessly. What? Orochimaru's expression was a little out of control, and he didn't doubt Naruto's words. Naruto didn't need to make such a silly joke. In fact, he also guessed a fae's identity, but he never thought of Konoha. He had heard of the character Uchiha Obito, who was in Kakashi's class and died in a mission early on. Unexpectedly, it was hidden so deep, not only went to the Akatsuki organization, but also owned the kaleidoscope Sharingan. With such strength, he condescends to become an intern. What kind of conspiracy does Obito have? For a short time, he couldn't figure out the details, so he had to ask again. Naruto-kun, I can't even deal with the Sengoku, so how can I deal with the kaleidoscope? I suffered a lot from Itachi. Obito's kaleidoscope has only the ability called Kamui, which is an advanced space-time ninjutsu whose ability is essentially to transfer any object between real space and another space. In addition, Kamui can also interact with other time-spaces. Ninjutsu resonates. Naruto explained. The left eye of Obito was given to Kakashi, and he only has the right eye at the moment. And his right eye can make himself incorporeal, that is, at the moment of being attacked, the attacked part is transferred to the other side. In the space, it can be used to avoid attacks and pass through obstacles. The disadvantage is that it is limited by a certain time. In the state of one eye, it can be cracked in 5 minutes without interval attack. With the power of my 9 tails suppressing it, it will not be a problem to take down Obito. For immortality or other research, space-time ninjutsu is the most difficult field to study. I believe it will be of great help to your research. After listening to Naruto's words, Orochimaru suddenly became enlightened. I didn't expect Naruto-kun to be so thoughtful. Orochimaru was slightly surprised and grateful. He was not interested in knowing how Naruto got the news. It is enough for him to know that this matter is in his favor. No trouble, after all, I still have something for you to do. After Naruto solved the most critical problem of Orochimaru, he also began to pave the way for himself. After the Chunin War, Konoha village can be described as a big change, and it doesn't make sense to stay any longer. Besides, Konoha is so dangerous and everyone doesn't want to see him, so there's no need for him to stay. It can even be said that he can't wait for Konoha to finish playing. What's the matter, Naruto-kun? But it's okay to say. Orochimaru is also more interested. After all, this is the first time Naruto has actively demanded him. Naruto murmured, I need you to take Sasuke. I want you to take Sasuke away. Naruto's words were concise. Orochimaru was puzzled and said, I don't need his body either, why take him away? Just like you, he has been imprinted with a servant contract by me. Following you can also help you deduce the spell of immortality. Correspondingly, you give him devil training and help him grow up. Naruto made it clear, in Konoha's environment, Sasuke's growth was greatly hindered. Not to mention that Danzo will be jealous when he grows to a certain level, but Konoha itself is too peaceful, which is not conducive to hard training. If it wasn't for Naruto's time travel some time ago, he won the #1 graduation. Then Sasuke will be more or less complacent when he crushes his peers. It is true that complacency makes people slack and stagnate. Go to Orochimaru, there is a gathering of elites. Knowing his own shortcomings, Sasuke can also grow quickly. Needless to say, the upper limit of the potential of the Uchiha clan is very high. As long as they are pushed, it is not difficult to grow. What is Naruto-kun's plan? Will you stay in Konoha? Orochimaru asked again. In his opinion, Sasuke is just a small matter, and Naruto's decision is the big thing. With Naruto's strength, he will definitely not be satisfied with living in Konoha. He wanted to know Naruto's next move. Stay in Konoha for the time being, and when my business is done, I'm going to go out and have a look around. Naruto's answer was simple. In his previous life, he was obsessed with Hokage for a while, and for this reason, he has read a lot of Hokage's fan fiction. The other traversers feel that Konoha is sinister, and they don't need to get Konoha's approval at all. They all want to escape from Konoha quickly, and even take revenge on Konoha. Naruto doesn't think so. Of course he doesn't have masochistic tendencies, nor is he without temper. His purpose from the beginning to the end is only one, which is to sign in and check in everywhere to enhance his own strength. As for Danzo's surveillance and the hatred of the villagers, all these are just episodes. Only near invincible strength is what Naruto pursues. Only when one's own strength reaches the extreme can one have absolute freedom and the absolute right to speak. At that time, no matter whether others agree or not, Naruto can destroy Hokage with one move, so why care about other people's thoughts? In addition, in the original book, Naruto was a ninja for 10,000 years, and he wanted to become a Zonnin, and even promoted to a ninja, so as to make up for the achievements that Naruto did not achieve in the original book. Of course, there is also the tragic death of Ningsi and so on. Naruto wants to make up for the regret of watching Hokage, which is also his purpose of staying in Konoha. Someone is here, so I'll go first, Naruto-kun. Orochimaru narrowed his eyes slightly, then disappeared from the spot in a flash. The next moment, a figure fell to the ground. Sasuke, how did you find this place? Didn't I ask you to learn from Kakashi? Naruto was a little surprised. Sasuke explained. I asked a passerby and said you went up the mountain, so I came to look for it. I met Kakashi just now, and he told me that the Chunin assessment was about to start, so I came to meet you and Sakura. So that's the case, let's go then. Naruto nodded and followed Sasuke back to the village. After meeting Sakura, the three went to meet Kakashi together. Kakashi handed the 3 documents to Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura. The Chunin assessment will be held soon. This is the certificate I applied for the 3 of you. Take this to sign up, and you can participate in the Chunin assessment. Chunin assessment? But haven't we just become Genin? Sakura frowned slightly. Becoming a Chunin seemed too fast for her, and she couldn't adapt to this high intensity for a while. Kakashi pondered. You can choose to participate in this assessment, or you can choose not to participate, it is not mandatory. Hearing this, Sakura immediately beamed with joy, but before she could speak, Naruto spoke first. Sasuke, you must participate in this assessment with me. It is good. Sasuke nodded and agreed decisively. He never refuted Naruto's suggestion. Naruto, what are you doing? You have the strength to participate, but why did you recruit Sasuke? Sakura's face was full of displeasure. If Sasuke participates and passes, then she will leave Sasuke as a ninja. This Chunin assessment is a joint examination. I have already encountered a strong existence just now. Sasuke can grow a lot by participating. Naruto said lightly. Sakura, this assessment is too forced for you. If you don't want to participate, just give up, and I won't force you. I want to participate. Sakura gritted her teeth and finally made a choice. No way, she didn't want to leave Sasuke anyway. Everyone is not in a hurry to make a decision. You can change your decision before signing up. I still have something to do, so I'm leaving first. Kakashi waved his hand, turned into a cloud of white smoke, and disappeared. Wait, Kakashi-sensei. Sasuke hurriedly stopped, but it was too late. This guy is really... Seeing this, Naruto was extremely speechless. Kakashi walked so hastily that he didn't want to teach Sasuke. He was a lazy guy who was too troublesome. Sasuke, don't chase after him. Kakashi can hide from the first day of the junior high school, but can't hide from the 15th day. Sooner or later, he will teach you. Naruto comforted. Sasuke nodded. In that case, I'll go back to practice alone first, and prepare for the Chunin assessment. After speaking, Sasuke put his hands in his pockets and left first. Sakura, you should think about it carefully. Naruto said, turned and left. For Sakura, Naruto is too lazy to care. Originally, Haruno's family provided food and drink, and he was obliged to help Sakura. But since he knew that Haruno Mebuki's purpose was not pure, just to monitor him, he didn't need to be so concerned about Sakura. However, Before Naruto could go far, a fat ninja wrapped in bandages blocked his way. Konoha's ninja brat, I advise you to give up the Zonnin assessment, you will die. The bandage ninja spoke gloomily, and even a faint murderous aura appeared around him. Really, so what if I don't give up? Naruto smiled lightly, not panicking at all. He remembered that Kakashi recommended their 7th class to participate in the Chunin assessment, and Iruka was extremely opposed, because he was worried that the children would be frustrated and never recover. The bandage ninja in front of him, if Naruto's guess is correct, is Iruka, who performed the transformation technique. In doing this, Iruka should just want to stop them, the novice ninjas, and pass the early assessment by the way. If he passes his level and tries the Chunin assessment, Iruka can rest assured. If you don't give up, pass me first. The bandage ninja spoke coldly. As the voice fell, the bandaged ninja stepped on his foot, took out a kunai and stabbed Naruto. Boom! Naruto didn't dodge in the slightest, kunai directly inserted into his body. But the splash of blood didn't come as planned, because kunai didn't penetrate his body, but the screeching sound of metal colliding broke out. This is a trick Naruto learned when he practiced climbing trees, using chakra. At this moment, he just concentrated the power of 9 tails on his chest to resist. The bandage ninja didn't expect Naruto not to resist at all, so he couldn't help but startled. Taking advantage of the bandage ninja's dazed time, Naruto quickly grabbed the opponent's big hand, and then pulled hard, pushing the bandage ninja to the ground with a small grab. You lose. I was worried about how to solve the dinner, so you delivered it to your door, Mr. Iruka. Naruto chuckled. Hearing this, white smoke came out of the bandage ninja, and he changed back to Iruka. Naruto, how do you know I belong to Iruka? Iruka was slightly embarrassed. Obviously he was the one who came to test Naruto, but Naruto subdued him, and even saw through his real body. I guess Iruka-sensei will definitely not agree to the life-saving Chunin assessment, and knowing that I am a novice ninja, I can't think of anyone else except you. Naruto told a lie. He couldn't just say that he had read the script, that would be nonsense. It seems that I was just worrying about it. Iruka smiled helplessly. But other people may not be as clever as you. I'll treat you to dinner, but let me test other students first. Okay, then you get busy with business first, and see you at the ramen restaurant at 6 o'clock in the evening. After sending Iruka away, Naruto put his hands in his pockets and walked casually along the road. Seeing the cover of a popular boutique in a bookstore, he couldn't help but stop. Passing out to heaven. Good guy, Naruto direct good guy. This kind of book can still be sold with great fanfare. Konoha bookstore is really a conscience. Without hesitation, Naruto plunged into the bookstore. As the saying goes, there is Yan Ryu in the book, and the golden house in the book. Naruto doesn't want to stay for a moment, he just wants to swim in the ocean of books. As the sun went down, until the bookstore closed, Naruto left contentedly and went to Yale Ramen restaurant. Naruto, why are you so happy? Iruka, who was waiting at the Yale Ramen restaurant, was a little curious. After ordering a bowl of tonkatsu ramen, Naruto said with a smile, reading makes people happy. I read the book all afternoon, and I feel refreshed. Really not bad. Iruka stretched out a thumb. He originally thought that Naruto was strong and neglected theoretical knowledge. Unexpectedly, Naruto could use his spare time to study, and he still enjoyed it, which really impressed him. It's great that you can maintain the habit of reading after graduation. By the way, Naruto, what are you reading? Hot in Heaven, Naruto said with a smile. Even at this moment, he couldn't forget the contents inside. Jirai is not a literati or poet, and his book, Intimate Paradise, is not a gorgeous rhetoric, but fortunately, it is easy to understand, and some of the content is even too realistic. Puff. Hearing Naruto's reply, Iruka choked out a mouthful of hot noodles from his nostrils. Naruto, how can you look at that kind of thing? This thing is good. It solves all the troubles I have about puberty, and it describes the structure of the human body in detail. In the future, I will use knives to kill enemies, and I will know where the key is. Why can't I watch it? After Naruto made a rebuttal, he said old-fashionedly, Mr. Iruka, you can't look at your students with colored glasses. I feel wrong by this. Yeah, no matter how bad it is, it's still art. It's good to know more about it. Uncle Yeel added with a smile, and put a bowl of tonkatsu ramen in front of Naruto. Uncle Yeel is really a fellow, he knows how to appreciate it with an artistic eye, praise. Naruto chuckled, picked up the noodle bowl and slurped up the delicious ramen. Only Iruka opened his mouth, unable to refute for a long time. A bowl of char shao ramen. At this moment, the curtain was lifted, and a masked ninja walked in. Iruka turned his head and glanced at the visitor, and suddenly said pleasantly, "Kakashi, you came just in time, please tell me about Naruto." "Oh, what's wrong with Naruto? Isn't he your favorite student?" Kakashi frowned slightly. Iruka complained again and again. "You don't know, Naruto has learned badly, so he went to the bookstore this afternoon to read Love Paradise, and he even called it a study of the human body structure, which helps to kill the enemy's vital points. It's more about appreciation art. Tell me not to wear colored glasses, what do you tell me about this?" "Yo, Naruto, did you really go to make out in paradise?" Kakashi turned to look at Naruto. Naruto nodded without retorting. To see is to see, manly man, dare to act. Iruka's mouth couldn't help but smile. As long as Naruto dared to admit it, Kakashi would never let Naruto off. After all, this matter is too bad, and Naruto must be taught well, so that Naruto can understand what can be seen and what can't be seen. But before the corner of Iruka's mouth opened, Kakashi patted Naruto's shoulder, stretched out his thumb and said, "My boy, you've finally got the hang of it. It's really good to make love to heaven. You want to see it later, no need to go to the bookstore, I can lend it to you." "Okay, then I won't be polite." Naruto chuckled, with a very lewd expression. This. Seeing the two people who share similar tastes, Iruka was completely choked up. As if stuck in the throat, unable to speak half a word. Naruto, a good young man, how could he become like this in just over a month? Without thinking too much, he guessed it too. It must be that Kakashi watched Kindness to Heaven every day, which led to Naruto's failure. "Kakashi, return my original Naruto." Who is thinking about me?" Kakashi touched his nose, but at this moment he didn't know that he was secretly hated by Iruka. After eating ramen, everyone said goodbye one after another. Tomorrow is the Chunin assessment. It is estimated that many interesting things will happen, so Naruto went home early to sleep. But because he watched Intimate Heaven all afternoon, he just can't fall asleep now. He had no choice but to go out for some air, hoping that his brain would calm down. However, he didn't go far, and he saw something hanging on a tree, which seemed to be a person. Someone committed suicide. Naruto subconsciously condensed the power of Nine Tails and retreated a few meters away. He didn't want to be regarded as a murderer or something. It's just that the figure is a bit unusual. The head is actually forked. Look carefully, it's not like someone committed suicide, it's just that someone was absorbed by chakra and hung upside down on the tree. Good guy, I hang the southeast branch by myself in the middle of the night, I'm really sick. Naruto was a little speechless, wanting to step forward to see who was so boring, and to scare him. Before he could walk in, the figure on the tree disappeared, and in a moment of darkness, this figure had already appeared in front of Naruto. "I'm not seriously ill, but so are you, I can feel that you and I have the same aura." Seeing the other party's red hair clearly through the moonlight, Naruto froze in place. "I love Luo, why is this guy here?" Naruto's head was running fast, and he quickly thought of the reason. The current Gaara has not gotten along well with Aikyo Shukaku, and has been suffering from insomnia. Gaara didn't dare to sleep, because Shukaku would occupy his body and make trouble when he fell asleep. If things go on like this, it leads to Gaara's dark circles. After thinking it over clearly, Naruto came back to his senses, opened his mouth and cursed involuntarily. "You are the only one who is sick, don't look at me with pity, I don't suffer from insomnia, I sleep soundly." Chapter 51. There is obviously a monster in your body, aren't you worried that it will occupy your body after you fall asleep? Gaara said in a deep voice. He was tortured to the point where he was barely human. "I am me, and I'm a different kind of firework. Different from inside you." Naruto smiled playfully. Even if he didn't systematically control the power of Nine Tails, he wasn't worried that Nine Tails would come out, his seal was always very strong. People have been giving him blessings all the time, so there is no need to worry. The fly in the ointment is that his own chakra will share more than half of it for sealing. Now that he has the power of Nine Tails due to the system signing in, there is no need to worry. What is the difference? Gaara frowned. What's in your body is a fat person, what's in my body is a thin person, the difference is too much. Naruto said it casually. Gaara believed it was true, and there was a hot light in his eyes. Then how can I control it? As long as you tell me the method, I will spare no expense. Gaara said solemnly. Turning his eyes, Naruto asked from the bottom of his heart, System, the target of signing the contract with the servant contract, will everything be under my control? You can only control the target itself, and there are special circumstances. The Gaara in front of you is an Inchiriki. As long as Gaara signs the contract, Izuzuru will also be controlled by you. Hearing this, Naruto couldn't help but raise the corners of his mouth. He joked and said, coincidentally, I can guarantee you a good night's sleep. Please tell me quickly. Gaara's attitude was extremely humble, and his eyes were full of longing. Who would have thought that Gaara, who kills without blinking an eye, would look like this? If Kankuro and Temari saw it, their jaws would be shocked. At this moment, only Naruto understands Gaara's thoughts very well. No matter how ruthless Gaara is, and what pain he has experienced, he is still just a child after all, and that's what happens when he is too mature mentally. Naruto could tell that Gaara had been tortured and lost most of his mind. Gaara has only one purpose now, and that is to have a good sleep. Otherwise, no matter what kind of person they are, if they can only take a short nap every day, they will have a nervous breakdown. The attitude is good, but Konoha is not as simple as you think. Tell me your address, and I will sneak to find you later. Okay, I'm staying in room 333 of the hotel on the corner of the street, waiting for you to come. Gaara nodded, and left in a flash. There are also tailed beasts in the body, and they often encounter similar situations. People in the village are afraid of Jinchuriku, and they will send Anbu ninjas to follow him secretly. The two Hinjiri met so openly, no matter what they said, they would be guessed. Seeing Gaara leave, Naruto wandered around for a while before returning home. That's about it. Naruto lay peacefully on the bed. Just now, he purposely went to the public restroom while wandering around, and cast the shadow clone in it, turning the shadow clone into a passerby and leaving first. The shadow clone has the same will as him, and after walking for a while, the shadow clone casts the transformation technique again. After going around several times, he changed into Kankuro's appearance and went to the hotel on the corner of the street. In this way, the whereabouts will not be exposed. Knock Gaara's door, and the next moment, the door opens. You're finally here, how is it you? Gaara's anticipation instantly turned into indifference. It's me, Uzumaki Naruto. The Naruto clone who changed into Kankuro's appearance explained. There is no way, Konoha's supervision is too strict, I can't show my real body. Then come in quickly. The look on Gaara's face became eager again. When you enter room 333, what you see is a tea table with 2 cups of hot tea, and then there are empty tatami mats, which are extremely simple. Did you sleep without a quilt? Naruto asked involuntarily. I can't sleep, seeing the quilt will only make me more disturbed. Gaara said bitterly. If he accidentally fell asleep, the consequences would be unimaginable. For this reason, he cleaned up everything related to sleep. As the saying goes, out of sight, out of mind. You are also suffering. Naruto shook his head helplessly, and then took out the servant contract. What's this? Gaara asked. This is a contract. As long as you sign a contract with me, the things in your body will be controlled by me. Then you can sleep as you want. Naruto said without any concealment. It's just that after signing the contract, you will also be under my command and control. This is the price, can you accept it? This. Gaara hesitated. It's uncomfortable to be controlled by others. If he is sent to die, he can't refute it. Wouldn't it be suicide? However, he has not slept, and his spirit has reached the verge of collapse, and he is not far from death. After contemplating for a long time, he asked, can we make 3 chapters? 3 chapters of the agreement. Tell me, what conditions do you have? Naruto said with great interest. If Gaara can be subdued without bloodshed, let alone 3 chapters, even if there are too many conditions. He is very clear that after passing the Chunin exam, Gaara will inherit the name of Kazekage when he goes back, and the entire Sand Ninja village will be under the control of Gaara. Gaara pondered. First, you must ensure my sleep. Second, you must not threaten my safety. Third, you must prove the authenticity of the contract to me, otherwise what will you do if you lie to me? The proof is simple, like this. Naruto condensed the power of 9 tails, and his figure flashed in front of Gaara. The sand in Gaara's gourd automatically protects the Lord and stands in front of Gaara. But Naruto's hands have turned into sharp claws, and the dark red chakra has turned into real gloves. When he pulls hard, the sand is completely torn into pieces. The violent 9-tailed chakra filled every grain of sand, completely scrapping Gaara's absolute defense, leaving only loose sand all over the ground. It's easy for me to take your life. Even if you release the monster in your body, you are not my opponent. Naruto's sharp claws are only an inch away from Gaara's neck artery, and with a little force, it can cut Gaara's neck. Here, I believe it. Gaara swallowed hard. Indeed, Naruto can easily take his life, so why does he need to rely on a contract? I remember you said that your contract is very important. I have never met you, why did you help me? Gaara couldn't understand Naruto's thoughts. Naruto explained with a smile, it's very simple. After signing the contract, you will be my most loyal subordinate. Through the contract, I can let the monsters in your body be under your control. In this way, your strength can also be leapfrogged. A qualitative change is also a good thing for me. You must know that each tailed beast has different strengths, and each tail Shukaku is a top-ranked actual combat faction, and being able to have this kind of great power is beyond the strength of the shadow class. Hearing this, Gaara finally understood. He can use the contract to sleep well, and Naruto also uses the contract to gain a lot of power. In short, both people took what they wanted from each other, and it was a fair deal. Gaara's eyes filled with anticipation and excitement when he thought that he could control all the power of Shukaku and no longer need to be restrained by Shukaku. Okay, I agree to sign the contract. Now that you've figured it out, there's no going back. Naruto took out that servant contract. The first page was Orochimaru, the second page was Uchiha Sasuke, the third page was Momochi Zabuza, turned over 3 pages, and the fourth page was blank. I'm sure to sign the contract. Gaara said in a deep voice, he has already considered all the consequences. After the words fell, the golden light shone on the blank page, rushing towards Gaara, who took the initiative to sign the contract. Countless gray and incomprehensible runes are scattered and orderly, forming a golden light covering Gaara's body, and as the golden light gathers, countless runes are branded on Gaara's body. When all the golden light disappeared, a huge 6-pointed star array appeared on the ground under Gaara's feet. As it rose, it was like going through a security check, and finally stopped at Gaara's stomach. Kindness. Naruto narrowed his eyes slightly. It used to be in the heart. What happened to the stomach? With the hexagram branded on Gaara's stomach, an unwilling roar resounded in the entire room instantly. It's Shuhei. Gaara's eyes flickered. Deep in the eyes were deep fear and fear. But in the next moment, he trembled all over, and his eyes gradually showed surprise and horror. What's the matter? I can't feel Shuhei anymore. Has it disappeared? At the same time, a system notification sounded in Naruto's mind. Congratulations to the host for successfully signing the servant contract with Gaara. It's not that Shuhei has disappeared, it's just because of you that it's completely under my control. From now on, it's impossible for it to act recklessly. Naruto answered Gaara's doubts. Hearing this, Gaara's gloomy face rarely showed a hint of joy. Naruto, is what you said true? Of course it's true. If you don't believe me, I can prove it to you. Naruto said with a playful smile. Use your left hand to transform into the claw of the crane. Don't be kidding, I can't control it perfectly. Halfway through Gaara's words, his body began to move uncontrollably. His left hand was slowly raised, and a violent chakra that did not belong to him gathered in his left hand at the position of his stomach, and then chakra came out through his body, sucking up the gravel on the ground, forming a khaki color. Big pause. It really succeeded, Gaara said hesitantly. The horror in his eyes gradually turned into surprise, which was a joy that could not be expressed in words. Weeping with joy, that's all. Tang Gaara actually shed tears. Naruto, thank you. Gaara's voice trembled abnormally, almost on the verge of breaking the sound. He bowed at 90 degrees, and only this kind of bow was enough to express his joy and gratitude. Okay, don't get too excited. If you speak louder, you will attract others in a while. This matter is known to everyone, you know me, and other than that, No one is allowed to know, understand? Naruto waved his hand. My love Luo nodded again and again. Don't worry, I won't say anything. By the way, you have been here for so long and I haven't let you sit down. Sit down and have a sip of tea to quench your thirst. Saying that, Gaara picked up the teacup and handed it to Naruto with both hands. You know, Gaara can use sand to control anything, and handing tea with both hands is a high-level treatment that his parents have never enjoyed. It can be said that Naruto has the only exclusive VIP service. Now I know, let me sit down and rest, really. Naruto shook his head helplessly. Forget it, your matter is settled, and I have to return to the main body to report. I will let Shuhei be honest, and you can sleep well. After finishing speaking, Naruto performed the spell to unlock the shadow clone, and his whole body instantly turned into a cloud of white smoke and disappeared from the spot. Looking at the empty room, Gaara's mood could not be restored to calm for a long time. He just felt that what happened just now was like a dream, very unreal. Feeling the body again and again, confirming that he could not feel the existence of Shuzuru, Gaara slowly lay down on the tatami. At this moment, he couldn't help but shed tears again. The man did not shed tears, but he did not go to the sad place. He tried countless methods but couldn't fall asleep. He never thought that coming to a strange Konoha would solve the problem. After lying down for a long time, he even forgot the last time when he fell asleep so peacefully. For a while, he couldn't sleep anymore. Fortunately, sleepiness hit him, and he fell asleep soon without any worries or burdens. On the other side, Naruto was lying at home, and a strange yet familiar memory appeared in his mind, which was the picture sent back by the shadow clone. I didn't expect Gaara to be so easy to conquer. Naruto shook his head helplessly. Sure enough, he was overthinking this time. He originally thought that Gaara had a gloomy personality and was extremely difficult to communicate with, especially when personal freedom was involved. Even ordinary people would find it difficult to accept it. Logically speaking, Gaara should be difficult to subdue. But he forgot one thing. Gaara was so sleepy that he was already facing a mental breakdown. The more so, the more vulnerable. It was a coincidence that he subdued this time. Looking through that servant contract, the names filled in on the 4 pages are all powerful helpers. At this moment, he felt great satisfaction in his heart. He, who couldn't fall asleep because of intimate heaven, gradually fell asleep. He didn't talk all night, until the next morning, when his door was knocked. He opened his eyes in a daze. Who? Disturbing people's dreams in the morning. Opening the door, Sakura and Sasuke stood outside. Sasuke said lightly, "What morning? The sun is shining on the buttocks. If you don't sign up, you will be late." Sakura agreed. Yes, we agreed to gather at 9 o'clock, and now it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Then wait for me, I'll wash my face and leave. Naruto went back to wash up, and when he left the house, he was surprised. Huh. Sakura is here too. I thought you weren't coming. For the sake of the 7th class, and for myself, I will try my best not to lag behind and keep up with everyone's footsteps. Sakura clenched her small fists and said. Looking at his appearance, he is impassioned and full of fighting spirit. If you don't know what Sakura is like, you will think that Sakura is a good student who is diligent and motivated. But Naruto knew it with his feet, and Sakura made it clear that she just didn't want to be separated from Sasuke. But if you don't tell the truth, it can be regarded as the last fig leaf for Sakura. The 3 of them soon came to the exam building and went up to the 2nd floor. They saw a group of ninjas watching, and then they heard the sound of fighting inside. Let us in, we are participating in the Zongnin assessment. I saw a man in green clothes with thick eyebrows lying on the ground with a pot head on his head. Judging from its appearance, the injury does not seem to be serious. The 2 ninjas blocking the door embraced their hands and said coldly, "You can only enter if you defeat us." Seeing this, Naruto suddenly realized. He remembered that before signing up, there was a small level of illusion, which was to turn the illusion on the 2nd floor into the 3rd floor, and many people were fooled by it. The guy who fell on the ground knew without thinking that he was the hardworking genius Lock Lee. It's just that Naruto's gaze didn't stay on the crowd at this moment. After searching around, his eyes suddenly showed a bright light. Finally met the real person, Hinata Neji. Are you going to take the Chunin exam like this? It's better not to take it, they are all young brats. The gatekeeper ninja taunted. Please let us pass. Tien, who was wearing a ball head, stepped forward and begged, but the gatekeeper ninja showed no mercy, and knocked Tien to the ground with a single punch. It's too much. The onlookers couldn't help but complain. What are you talking about? Listen carefully, this is our gentleness. The Chunin exam is a big difficulty. Just because of taking this exam, people who give up being ninjas, and those who are depressed and unable to cheer up, I've seen a lot. In the case of Chunin, it is at the captain level of the army. The failure of the mission and the death of the subordinates are all the responsibility of the captain. Can you little devils afford those? For those who fail to pass the exam, let them be shut down here. What's the problem? The two gatekeeper ninjas sang together, and everyone fell silent. Naruto, what should we do? Sasuke asked. How to do? Naruto repeated, but his eyes did not leave Hinata Neji's body. With soft long hair and fair skin, at first glance I thought it was a girl, but the sharpness between the eyebrows showed that it was a boy. It's worse than bi, but it also has the potential of women's clothing. Especially when Ning-Si combed the young woman's hair, it was very dangerous. Naruto's heart cannot help but have a bad taste. You know, Ning-Si died a terrible death. Even if he is alive now, being controlled by the bird in the cage, his heart is still suffering. Compared with death and pain, what is it to be a women's mogul? He put his hands in his pockets, walked up to Ning-Si, and said with a playful smile, "Little girl, both of your companions have been beaten. What do you think should I do? I'll help you." What? Ning-Si frowned slightly. You are the little girl, take care of yourself. You. The smile on Naruto's face faded instantly. Although he was controlled by Kyuubi, he has no beard on his face, and his hair has become medium length, resembling Minato, but he can't be recognized as a little girl. This guy Ning-Si definitely followed his example. Taking a deep breath, Naruto suppressed the anger in his heart. If he acted impulsively, it would be in Ning-Si's hands. In the eyes of outsiders, he is inferior. No, we must win back a city. Turning his eyes, a smile appeared on his face again. Whispering and saying that you are not a little girl. Knowing that you little girls are easy to shy, you don't say it when you want someone to help you. But brother is not such a stingy person. This time, brother will help you. Said, he waved to Sasuke. Sasuke nodded slightly, and walked towards the gatekeeper ninja with his hands in his pockets. We have to go there. Let's get rid of this barrier created by illusion. We are going to the 3rd floor. Hearing this, the onlookers couldn't help but ask, what did that guy say? Oh, you noticed it. The gatekeeper ninja knew what Sasuke meant, which made the onlookers even more confused. Without waiting for Sasuke to explain, Naruto said to Sakura, how about it, Sakura, you should be the first to notice your words. Your analytical ability and mastery of illusion are the best in our class. He found that something was wrong with Sakura early in the morning, as if he was overly nervous. Originally, he didn't intend to let Sakura come, but since he came, it's better to help if he can. Sakura, tell me then. After getting along for so long, Sasuke understood Naruto's thoughts very well, and naturally sent an encouraging look to Sakura. Naruto, Sasuke, thank you. Sakura nodded heavily, stepped forward and explained. Of course, I noticed it a long time ago, because this is the 2nd floor. After the words fell, she made seals with her hands. I saw that the 301 on the classroom card behind the gatekeeper ninja changed to 201. The illusion barrier completely disappeared. HMPH, it's quite powerful, but what's the use if you just see through it? Illusion is not all ninjas. The gatekeeper ninja snorted coldly, and turned back with a roundabout kick. Come here. Sasuke narrowed his eyes slightly, stepped on his foot, and volleyed with a volley. Whoosh. At this moment, a figure flashed past and came between the two. Boom. Sasuke and the gatekeeper ninja were completely blocked by this figure, who was the thick-browed Lock Lee. The blocked Sasuke and the gatekeeper ninja scattered. Sasuke looked at Xiao Li with a look of surprise on his face. He didn't expect Xiao Li to be so fast, especially the hand blocking him was full of strength. It was completely different from when he was beaten just now. It seems that there are still 2 brushes. I underestimated you little devils. The gatekeeper ninja opened his mouth lightly, turned around and left with his companions. At the same time, Tien, who was lying on the ground, stood up, and the scratches on his face disappeared in no time. Hey, Xiao Li, this is different from what you said. Didn't you say that you don't want to attract attention, so you will be guarded? But, Xiao Li wanted to defend something, but he didn't know where to start. And he looked at Sakura intently. Whether it was clenched fists or the excited rosiness on his face, it all represented his mood at the moment. This time, Tien had an insight into Xiao Li's inner thoughts, and suddenly felt helpless. Xiao Li ignored everyone and walked quickly to Xiao Ying. My name is Lok Li, and your name is Sakura. What? Sakura was a little puzzled. Please associate with me, I will protect you until death. Xiao Li stretched out his thumb, showing a smile stronger than black people. Absolutely not, your eyebrows are too thick. Sakura's expression was worse than eating shit. Hearing this, Xiao Li's expression instantly became depressed and he was deeply shocked. Naruto didn't pay attention to the little farce here. He looked at Ningxi, and continued to tease. Little girl, I didn't expect that your companion has some skills, but this time it is also due to brother's credit. You should remember this kindness in your heart. After the Chunin assessment is over, brother will come to you to repay it. You fool. Ningxi couldn't bear it anymore, raised his hand and punched out. Boom. Naruto gathered the power of the 9 tails, gathered his palms, and easily blocked the punch. Do it, Ningxi, do it. Naruto's heart was overjoyed. Ningxi had broken his defenses, so this time, it was Ningxi who fell behind. Little girl, put away your cotton fist. My brother said, I will repay you after the Chunin assessment is over. Brother is not in a hurry. Why are you in a hurry? Girls should be more reserved. Naruto chuckled. You fool, courting death. Ningxi completely broke the defense, and slapped several palms in a row. Before the palms arrived, the wind from the palms blew around Renmin's face with pain. Naruto didn't panic at all, not only didn't fight back to accept the move, but even turned around with his back facing Neji. Bang bang bang. With a few palms, the door plates of the classroom were shattered, but Naruto was unscathed. Shu Tan, these palms are not bad, the strength of the massage is just right. Naruto said with a smile, enjoying himself. How can that be? Ningxi was puzzled. Even the real Chunin would not dare to pick it up, and even the Jonin could pick it up, but they couldn't be unscathed. Unscathed here means that even the clothes are not damaged in the slightest. Open. Ningxi didn't think much, and rolled his eyes directly. Through blind observation, any trick can reveal the truth. I saw blue veins popping out of the corners of his forehead and eyes, and the white eyes opened up inside. However, in the next moment, fear and horror appeared in his eyes. Ah this. He couldn't even utter a single finished sentence. Just because, even if he saw it with his own eyes, he couldn't believe the truth of what he saw. What kind of monster is in Naruto's body? In the state of rolling his eyes, what Neji sees is different from others, not just the appearance, but the inner chakra. The chakra of normal people is stimulated from the stomach, and when used, it will flow to different meridians. Naruto's chakra is completely different. Let's talk about the color first. Normal chakra is blue, but Naruto's body is fiery red. Besides, the distribution of chakra is also stimulated by the stomach position, but Naruto's whole body is full of chakra. It is not a stream of water, but like a vast ocean. It is not an exaggeration to say that it is Chatanla. The most important thing is that the solid state of chakra almost covers Naruto's whole body, like a fiery red armor. Especially on the stomach, there is a monster head bearing its teeth, which seems to be the head of a fox. This was a scene Neji had never seen before. It's too scary. Is Naruto really a human? Ningxi swallowed hard, and wanted to move again, but found that his whole body was in a state of stiffness. Physiologically out of control, Ningxi felt bitter, shocked, and filled with various complex emotions. Is this the freshman number 1? It's too strong. What's the matter, little girl? What are you stuttering about? Are you fascinated by your brother? With a smile on the corner of Naruto's mouth, he joked. Outsiders only know that Naruto has strength. Even Sasuke only knows that Naruto is extraordinary, but only Bayan can truly understand the horror of Nine Tails chakra. How many people in the world can match the ocean-like violent chakra? To put it bluntly, Naruto's chakra is more than the sum of all the chakras present. In addition, Nine Tails can absorb the energy in the world and turn it into its own chakra. It can be said that Naruto is a perpetual motion machine. Ningji, what's wrong with you? Tien Tien patted Ning Si on the shoulder and asked with concern. In the past, no matter what happened, Ning Si was the calmest. What happened today? I'm fine. The veins in the corners of Ning Si's eyes tightened, and the wide-eyed mode was released. Out of sight, out of mind. Not seeing such a terrifying chakra, his condition improved. Where are you, Holy? Neji looked at Naruto and asked solemnly. Little girl, I told you several times, don't worry, do you like brother? Naruto said with a playful smile, but before asking someone's name, shouldn't they give their name first? Ning Si took a deep breath, now he has calmed down. There is no need to be angry with Naruto, even if he is angry, he is not Naruto's opponent. After thinking it over, he explained, I'm not a little girl, I'm Neji Hinata who is a year older than you. Oh, so it's the senior. I thought it was a little girl with long hair. Naruto laughed and said, why didn't you say it earlier? Our classmate Hinata is also shy every time she sees me talking. Could it be the rule of your Hinata family? Hearing the word Hinata, Ning Si's face suddenly became gloomy, and he frowned, don't mention her to me, I'm different from her. I've finished the introduction, it's your turn. Sure enough, mentioning Hinata with Neji is like mentioning Itachi with Sasuke, who will suddenly fall ill. But Naruto didn't care, he wanted to stimulate Neji and let Neji continue to break the defense. It wasn't that Naruto was sick, or hated Neji, he just wanted to tease Neji. These years, Neji's heart has been closed because of Hyuga's separation. If you want Neji to really open his heart, the best way is to let him break the defense. Only by breaking the original constraints and psychological defenses can we receive external information from the heart. Naruto rolled his eyes, showing a look of surprise, it's my turn. I just asked you to introduce first. By the way, I have no obligation to answer you, right? What? Ning Si was stunned, he never expected this answer. But he couldn't beat it, so he had to suffer in his heart. Naruto, time is running out, let's report first. Sakura reminded. Hearing this, Naruto nodded, turned around and walked towards the third floor. Anyway, the stimulation given to Ninki today is enough, there is no need to do it anymore. With Ning Si's character, it's impossible to handle it once, but if you force your mentality, it's easy to play Ning Si badly, and you will go to the point of no return. That would defeat Naruto's original purpose. Seeing the three of Naruto walking away, Tiantian murmured, what a cute little guy. Cute? What's so cute? This guy is dangerous. Neji frowned. Xiao Li, who was hit hard, has recovered as usual. He came to Ning Si and said, you two go first, I still have something to deal with. What are you dealing with? Are you going to find that pink-haired girl? Take it easy and focus on this Chunin assessment. The yellow-haired guy just now is extremely dangerous. Before the official assessment, you are not allowed to leave the team. After speaking, Ning Si turned and left. Tien Tien and Xiao Li looked at each other in blank dismay. It had been many years since they knew Ning Si, but they had never seen Ning Si's attitude. It seems that he has really met a strong enemy. Tien Tien, is Ning Si okay? Xiao Li worried. Tien Tien waved his hand and said, what can happen? Ning Si has been cold all day long. Teacher Kai tried to persuade him many times but it didn't work. Now finally someone can cure him, it's good for him and us, don't worry, let's report it too. She dragged Xiao Li who didn't understand, and followed Ning Si's direction to leave. On the other side, the three of Naruto came to the third floor. Looking at Sasuke with a serious face, Naruto asked doubtfully, Sasuke, what's wrong with you? The Chunin exam is full of monsters. Sasuke exclaimed. Monster, Yunji, are you telling the latest bad joke? Naruto clicked his tongue. I'm not. Sasuke was halfway through speaking. Seeing Naruto who was smiling, he also smiled in relief. Indeed, this is a bad joke. The gathering of monsters is really funny. After all, under Naruto, all beings are equal. Among the ninjas in this Chunin assessment, Naruto is undoubtedly the biggest monster. Sasuke trained with Naruto every day, so why worry about those so-called monsters? Once upon a time, wasn't he also a monster in the eyes of others? Okay, just figure it out. don't be too stubborn, it doesn't matter if you win or lose for a while, it's good to work hard to become stronger in the future. Naruto patted Sasuke on the shoulder and walked forward first. At the end of the corridor, there is a door with 301 written on it, which is where the Chunin assessment was reported. Outside the door, Kakashi was waiting. Sakura is here too, Kakashi said solemnly. Sakura suddenly dissatisfied. Mr. Kakashi, do you also think I can't do it? Kakashi shook his head, and explained, actually, this assessment is a group of 3 from the beginning, and only 3 people can cooperate to participate in the assessment. Sakura was even more puzzled. What does this mean? Didn't you say that participating in the assessment is a personal choice, and you can freely choose to participate? Kakashi continued to explain. I lied to you. If I said that there must be a group of 3, even if you don't want to come, Naruto and Sasuke will reluctantly bring you here. This is not what I want to see. But now, you all came here with your own will, you 3, well done. You are a team I am proud of. Chunin assessment, now you can officially apply. Hearing this, Sasuke and Sakura had smiles on their faces. Indeed, they came of their own volition, and welcome. Only Naruto laughed a little stiffly, and even began to reflect in his heart. He actually forgot that the Chunin assessment required a group of 3 to participate, and it would be terrible if Sakura didn't come. Fortunately, Sakura came here with her own will. But because of this, he found that he has been too big-hearted recently, and he has become less cautious than before when he has the strength. This is taboo. The Zongnin assessment is a small matter. If something bigger happens in the future, it will be really bad. It seems that in the future, we should calm down and be more cautious. Okay, let's go. Kakashi narrowed his eyes and smiled. It is good. Sasuke and Sakura stepped forward to push open the door. Naruto walked in the middle, and entered the assessment classroom together. The door closed, and the 3 raised their heads. I saw that the small classroom was already overcrowded. Everyone had a gloomy face, strange clothes, and full of bloody aura. Are all the villains really? In such a depressing atmosphere, the bodies of Sakura and Sasuke began to tremble slightly. What are you afraid of? There is me, Naruto comforted. Sakura worried. Are these really ninjas? Why do they feel more like fugitive ninjas like Zabujan? They don't look like good people. Sasuke smiled lightly and said, afraid. I just find it interesting. Being able to fight so many people will help me grow in actual combat. As expected of a man I'm optimistic about. I haven't seen him for over a month, I miss Sasuke so much. A long-haired figure jumped on Sasuke. The worry on Sakura's face instantly turned into anger. Big Ino, let go of Sasuke. Hey, isn't this an ugly monster with a big forehead? Nakayama Ino held Sasuke's arm, his eyes were full of mockery, and he even made a grimace. You. Before Sakura could speak, Naruto said calmly, Sasuke Sakura, find a place to rest. If you want to be cautious, you have to start with everything. The current dispute is meaningless. It's better to go to the side and wait for the assessment to start. It is good. Sensing that Naruto was in a bad mood, Sasuke pulled out his arm and walked to the first row of the classroom. Please make up 3 seats, we have to rest. Sasuke tapped on the table. Boy, what did you say? The ninjas with 3 ferocious faces sitting in the first row showed displeasure, and stood up one after another, as if they were going to fight. I said let. Before Sasuke could finish speaking, he was interrupted by a silver-haired figure. Misunderstanding, it's all a misunderstanding, please rest. Saying that, he hurriedly pulled Sasuke away. Who are you? Mind your own business. Sasuke frowned. He didn't know this young man with silver pigtails, and he had never seen him before. I'm Pharmacist Do, come here first, don't cause trouble. The silver-haired man with glasses said. Seeing Konoha's forehead guard, Sasuke snorted coldly, I need a reason. Yao Shido explained. I've graduated for 4 years and I'm considered your senior. This is my 7th time to participate in the Chunin assessment. I have made sufficient preparations for this Chunin assessment. He took out a bunch of cards from his pocket and said, this is a ninja card, and the content can only be seen by using my chakra. Immediately afterwards, he pulled out 3 cards and placed them on the ground, pressing 2 fingers on the cards. As he injected chakra, the card spun quickly, and when it stopped, the content had already appeared on the blank card. Look, These three are ninjas from Rain Ninja Village. They are irritable by nature, and they are notoriously hard-tempered. Originally, the atmosphere of the Zongnan assessment was tense, so it was easy to make them angry. You provoked them, and you gave them a reason to vent. Sasuke said coldly. So what? Naruto said to find a place to rest. Shaking off Yakushi's pull, Sasuke walked towards the three urinen again. Make room. Court death. The ninjas in Urin village couldn't bear it anymore, drew their weapons and rushed towards Sasuke. Tips for carving insects. Sasuke snorted coldly, and was about to fight back with one step. Stop it all, you fools. At this moment, a cold snort interrupted the actions of both parties. Boom. Accompanied by a puff of white smoke, several figures appeared on the podium, and the sentence just now was said by the one in the middle. The ninjas in Muya village are relatively good-looking, and only a few of them have evil faces. Among them is the middle one. He said coldly, I've been waiting for a long time. I'm the examiner for the first Chunin assessment, Ibiki Morino. Those ninjas who were messing around just now, if you don't want to be eliminated immediately, please be quiet. He provoked first. Urinin had long thought of a speech. But he was the one who did it first. Before Sasuke finished speaking, Naruto pulled Sasuke and said, Examiner, we will pay attention. After all, he is a ninja from the same village. Morino Ibiki nodded, without too much blame, and continued to explain the rules. Without the examiner's permission, you are not allowed to fight privately. Even if the examiner allows it, you are not allowed to kill people. How dare you disobey me, you stupid pigs, weed out immediately. Everyone in the audience remained silent. Morinoi Hibiki took out a piece of paper and a number plate, and signaled, now that you understand everything, you can submit your applications in an orderly manner, and at the same time take the number plate, and sit in order according to the number. There were examiners present, and the people below were honest and lined up to submit applications. In the line, Naruto asked in a low voice, Sasuke, you are usually very smart, why did you get so confused just now? You even grabbed other people's seats. I see that your condition is not right, I thought something happened to you. Sasuke explained. Hearing this, Naruto was relieved. Sasuke is concerned about chaos. Although Sasuke made a mistake and was a little stupid in grabbing other people's seats this time, it warmed Naruto's heart. Okay, don't worry about me, I'm fine. Patting Sasuke on the shoulder, Naruto said nothing deeply. After all, Sasuke had good intentions. Are you really okay? Just now after Kakashi finished talking, something is wrong with you. Sasuke frowned. Naruto smiled lightly and said, Don't worry, when have I lied to you? I just reflected on some things. You should focus on the exam first, and I will discuss it with you later in the evening. Okay then. Sasuke didn't say any more. Looking at Sasuke's back, Naruto couldn't help showing a knowing smile. Still the same sentence, people who treat him well, no matter what the nature of the other party is, he will treat the other party well. Therefore, even after the Chunin assessment, Sasuke was about to leave Konoha, and Naruto asked Sasuke to come to the examination. Not only the reason for the three-person team to participate, but also so that Sasuke will not miss every opportunity to exercise. Whether it is Shao Li, Neji, Gaara, or even other ninjas, with the special requirements of the assessment, Sasuke will expand more perspectives and actual combat. After half an hour, all the ninjas were submitted, got their number plates, and took their seats one after another. Taking out a stack of test papers, Ibiki Morino said seriously, the first assessment will begin, the written test. Chapter 56 8 Immortals Crossing the Sea, each showing their magical powers. After the test papers were distributed, Ibiki Morino took out the chalk and wrote on the blackboard. In the first assessment, there are a few very important rules. I won't answer any of your questions afterwards, so listen to me. The first rule, all of you, there are 10 points at the beginning of the exam. All 10 questions in the written exam are worth 1 point for each question. Then the exam will take the form of deducting points. 1 point will be deducted for every wrong question. The second rule, whether you are qualified or not, is calculated based on the total scores of the 3 people who laughed against each other. The third rule is that in the exam, cheating and behaviors similar to cheating, once discovered by the invigilator, 2 points will be deducted each time. Simply put, if someone can't wait for the final grade, they have to withdraw from the exam. At any rate, he is someone who wants to become a chunin. Since he is a ninja, he will take the test like an excellent ninja. Then, if one member of the team gets 0 points, all members of the team will be judged as unqualified. In addition, the last question will be asked 45 minutes after the start of the test, and the test time will be 1 hour. After he finished explaining the rules, the proctor ninja held the scoreboard and said with a playful smile, "Anyone who shamelessly cheats is suicidal. Make it clear for me. I will watch you all the time." Morinoe Hibiki glanced at the clock. The time was 3:30 in the afternoon. He waved his hand and announced, "The exam begins." A series of rules and warnings made the ninjas participating in the assessment more or less nervous. Of course, this time is different from the original work, and it is not Naruto who panics the most. At this moment, Naruto was lying on the table, looking sideways at Hinata who was sitting on his right. "Naruto-kun, don't you answer the question." Hinata's voice was like a mosquito, and her face was flushed. "If you don't know how, I can land it to you after finishing writing. Don't worry about me, you do the questions well, I just want to take a good look at you." Naruto smiled kindly and softly. It was the first time for him to be so close to Hinata, and he could even inhale the fragrance of Hinata easily. Fragrant. Very fragrant. The fragrance of a girl is always so irresistible. Grumble. Before Naruto could be happy for a while, his stomach started growling, which was really unpleasant. "Naruto-kun, are you alright?" Hinata asked worriedly. "I didn't eat today, it's normal to be hungry, by the way, what do you like to eat?" Naruto asked. Hinata didn't understand Naruto's meaning, but still replied, "Ichiraku ramen." Hearing this, Naruto was slightly startled. Shouldn't teenage girls like sweets and snacks? How could it be ramen? But soon he realized that when reading blogger biography, the record holder of Eel Ramen restaurant was Hinata. Choji Akamichi was so edible that he ate 42 bowls, while Hinata ate an astonishing 46 bowls. "Then wait for me for a while," Naruto said with a smile. Under Hinata's puzzled gaze, Naruto slowly raised his right hand. "What's wrong? Did you give up the exam?" Morinoe Hibiki said in a deep voice. Naruto shook his head. "I'm hungry, I'll let the avatar go out and buy something to eat." "It's a boring little trick, if you want to use it to find information to cheat, I advise you to give up the assessment." Morinoe Hibiki looked stern and full of indifference. "Give up? You are really joking. Your rules are very clear, and you didn't say that I was not allowed to eat." As he said that, Naruto picked up the test paper and said with a playful smile, "Besides, let me tell you clearly that I don't plan to do these 9 questions. I'm already ready to hand in the blank paper. How about it? Don't suspect me of cheating, right? You can do whatever you want." Morinoe Hibiki never expected that someone would be so presumptuous, but it was true that as Naruto said, he did not break the rules. Boom. Naruto made seals with his hands, and with a puff of white smoke, a shadow clone rushed out of the classroom and rushed to Eel Ramen restaurant. Not long after, the shadow clone returned to the classroom with 2 bowls of steaming ramen. After removing the shadow clone, Naruto put a bowl of ramen in front of Hinata. "For things like ramen, you should eat it while it's hot. It won't taste good if it gets cold." "But Naruto-kun, he's taking an exam now." Hinata hesitated. Naruto winked and said in a low voice, "Don't worry, I'm here to ensure you can pass the test. Let's eat noodles first." "Okay then." Hinata thought about it, but still didn't reject Naruto's kindness. After all, it was the first time Naruto gave her something. Although the occasion and the things were not in season, she was still a little excited. Besides, she also believes in Naruto's words, which can guarantee her to pass the test. Suck and suck. Naruto happily ate the ramen, looking around. It has been 15 minutes since the exam, and everyone has almost started to move. Wouldn't it be nice to watch a free ninjutsu show while eating ramen? Soon, some people were writing hard. The show has begun. The first to start cheating was Yunbiji now. "I saw a fly flying out of his hand. After the fly flew around the field for a week, it fell back into his hand. Immediately afterwards, he began to answer questions. Simultaneously with him, there is also Inuzuka Tooth. There is Akamaru on Iba's head, accompanied by Akamaru's barking. Iba is not slow to write." Sure enough, how important it is to master a foreign language. Even worm language and dog language can come in handy. The two of them wrote fast, and the tone ninjas sitting behind them couldn't bear it anymore. Yin Ren's ears moved slightly, and a look of satisfaction appeared in his eyes. By listening to the sound, they can clearly judge the content written by others. The first team of the hearing battle took the lead in completing the cheating. At this time, Naruto had only eaten 1/3 of the noodles. The wonderful ninjutsu performance is not over yet, and the next step is the performance show of the prop group. Tiantian manipulated the ninja equipment and mirror placed on the ceiling early in the morning through the thin chakra thread. The angle of reflection was just enough to see the answers of the audience, and by the way, he also helped Shaoli, a guy who only knows physical skills, to complete the cheating. But such blatant cheating is not the worst. I saw that Kankuro actually released the crow, pretended to be an invigilator ninja, let this puppet wander around, plagiarized other people's content, and then went to the toilet to check the answers under the pretext of going to the toilet. Whether it's reading the original book or it happened in reality, Naruto doesn't understand this kind of blatant cheating. Why won't he be deducted points? Of course, the good show is not over yet, and the most exciting Big Axis performance has finally begun. Ino Yamanaka was the first to make seals, and her body fell down on the table with a bang, while Sakura's eyes became weird. With three-pointed joy in her success, she picked up the paper and struggled to recite the answer. It was obviously possessed by Ino's heart-turning technique. It has to be said that this secret method was Naruto's favorite before time travel. It can penetrate into other people's bodies, and there are too many things that can be done. Just thinking about it makes Naruto feel refreshed. Kemifa is still just an appetizer, and the most exciting thing is Sasuke, Neji, and Gaara. Sasuke and Neji opened their eyes almost at the same time. One copied the imitation action using Sharingan, and the other copied using the white eye perspective. The two major blood successors, and the second of the three pupil techniques, Sharingan and Bian, are the most reliable existences at any time. It's no wonder that these two are superior to ordinary ninjas. The talents are really incomparable. But to say the most outrageous, nothing more than Gaara. Through the gathering of sand in the palm of his hand, he actually made a third eye. After connecting the optic nerve, his third eye is equivalent to a surveillance camera with no dead ends, and it takes no effort to plagiarize and cheat. Good guy. Naruto called him good guy. In order to cheat, these ninjas are really 8 immortals crossing the sea, each showing their special abilities. After Naruto finished eating the ramen, this wonderful ninjutsu cheating show was almost over. The rest of the ninjas were either doing the questions blindly, or they were kicked out of the examination room due to their poor cheating skills. It is very different from the overcrowding at the beginning. The trash is almost cleaned out. Morinoi Hibiki had a grin on his terrifying face. It's been 45 minutes, and the 10th question will be announced. Many ninjas who failed to cheat showed anticipation and visible tension. You can only bet on this question, otherwise, you will be out with 0 points. Squeak. The door of the classroom opened, and Kankuro entered the classroom with the crow who turned into an invigilator. Good luck. Morinoi Bixie snorted coldly. It's not a waste of effort to play with dolls. Hearing this, Kankuro's expression changed. He thought he was perfect, but he didn't expect to be seen through. Naruto sitting in the seat was a little upset. Morino Ibiki could clearly see it. Why didn't he kick him out of the examination room? Could it be that Kankuro and Morino Ibiki have a PY deal? Oh shit, this is simply outrageous, and outrageous tomb robbery, outrageous, digging. Before announcing the 10th question, I want to add a small condition, a rule that makes you desperate. Hibiki Morino put his hands on his back and explained, first, you have to choose whether to answer the 10th question. We want to choose, so what if we choose not to answer? Tamari couldn't help asking, if you don't choose, then the examinee will be judged to get 0 points on the spot, that is, unqualified. Of course, the two companions will also be eliminated together. As soon as Morino Ibiki said this, the ninjas below couldn't help complaining. How is this going? This kind of thing must answer the 10th question. It's too messy to include the rule of being eliminated. Ignoring the ninjas below, Morino Ibiki continued, then, there is another rule. If you choose to answer the question but fail to answer it correctly, then the answerer will be forever deprived of the qualification to participate in the Chunin assessment. Boom. Inuzuka Tooth took the case and accused, how can there be such a stupid rule? After all, there are guys who have participated in many chunin exams here. Akamaru on his head also called a few times to show his agreement. Humph. Morinoi Bixie sneered and said, you guys are so unlucky. This year, I am the rule. And didn't I give you a retreat? If you don't have confidence, just choose not to answer honestly, and take the exam next year or later. Hearing this, everyone in the audience became nervous, and only Naruto was the least nervous. After all, knowing the development of the plot, he didn't panic at all. But if you think about it carefully, if you don't answer the question, then the three will be eliminated. If you can't answer the question, you will also be out, and you can only become a ninja for life. If it were Naruto who didn't know the development of the plot, he would probably panic to death. Morinoi Hibiki's mental pressure is like a heifer taking a sauna, really NB. This bad old man is very bad. Then, let's get started. Those who don't answer, please raise your hand. After confirming the number, please go out from here. Morino Ihihi put his hands in the pockets of his coat, with a serious expression on his face. The atmosphere in the audience was instantly suppressed to the extreme. Many people couldn't bear the pressure and raised their hands one after another. Even the young man with a goatee on the left side of Naruto who looked like an uncle raised his hand and left. Naruto didn't say much about this, he just turned his head and told Hinata, with me here, the 10th question is fine, just rest assured. He was pulling Hinata to eat noodles just now, and he was very worried that Hinata would not be able to bear the pressure. But what Naruto didn't expect was that Hinata said calmly, I'm fine. Taking a closer look, Hinata has already answered all the first 9 questions. Answering questions while eating, without delaying the progress at all, this is too scary. Naruto couldn't contain his surprise. Thinking back carefully, in the original book, Hinata did not cheat by using white eyes. Obviously, Hinata's theoretical knowledge is already quite powerful. It seems that he underestimated Hinata. Susu. The sound of footsteps kept ringing, followed by a large sigh. Without Naruto booing and using the protagonist's halo and mouth escape, many renunciations could not bear this kind of mental pressure, and they all chose the safest way to leave the stage to save their lives. Naruto looked around for a week, even more sobbing. You know, there are 78 people who passed the first assessment in the original book, but now there are only more than 50 people left, more than 20 people are missing. I'll say it again, this is a choice that bets your life. Morinoi Bixie said in a deep voice, and walked up to Naruto. Little ghost, you haven't answered a single question, if you want to give up, now is the time. Forehead. Naruto was speechless. He wasn't even going to be a stabbing head anymore, so as not to attract attention, why this guy was still stalking him. Do you have to force him to make a fuss? Ah, shaking his head helplessly, Naruto got up and stretched. But before Morino Ibiki could speak, he sat down again. Mouth escape. Demonstrate real technology. He doesn't. Even if Morino Ibiki pays so much attention to him and he chooses to remain silent, the other party can't do anything to him. As long as he expresses, his personality and thoughts will be seen by others. Only his silence can make Morinoi Bixie more difficult to guess. How could he fail to see what Morino Ibiki was thinking? The opponent made it clear that he wanted to make an example of others and persuaded him to leave the arena, which stimulated more people who were on the verge of giving up and gave up completely. He just won't let the opponent succeed. Looking at each other playfully, Naruto deliberately showed a meaningful smile. Are you the one who exerts pressure, the one who manipulates the mind? I let you not find north. The tighter you push, the looser I relax. As the saying goes, 4 or 2 moves 1,000 caddies, who can still play Tai Chi. Seeing that Naruto looked like a dead pig who was not afraid of boiling water, and refused to eat hard and soft, Ibiki Morino was not angry, and also smiled playfully. The state is very good, and there is a great potential to enter the interrogation team. He sighed. As soon as these words came out, Naruto stood up abruptly, unable to remain calm any longer. The interrogation team is not easy to mess with. They are all masters who interrogate prisoners. If they are really transferred, it would be too bad. It seems that they can't completely ignore each other. After thinking for a while, Naruto waved his hand and said, Teacher, I love you. I know I'm clumsy and I can't do interrogation work. Look, I can't even answer these 9 questions. You are so calm. I don't think so. The interrogation team needs talents like you. Morino Ibiki's smile became brighter and brighter, but he was like a devil. Where is Naruto, the opponent of this kind of old fritters? He was frightened and quickly explained. What a big misunderstanding, I just have the habit of counting. When I first checked the number of people, I found that the candidates were not a multiple of 3. Obviously, there are candidates who are not competing in groups of 3. And the question is so rare that it's beyond our scope. It's clear that the extra people are the undercover agents you put here to leak the answers. You said that we should use the ninja method to take the exam, but you are asking us to find undercover agents and use ninjutsu to cheat. However, this is also where I am stupid. Because I don't know any cheating ninjutsu, the interrogation team should not need waste. I just noticed it when I was eating noodles. Look at the listening team over there who use bugs and dogs with ears, and then look at the ceiling ninja tools and the props team that use puppets, or use secret techniques to possess and see through the boundaries of blood. Special team. If you really want to choose people, there are a lot of good players here, don't you think? In order not to be targeted by Morino Ibiki, Naruto took a breath and betrayed all the people who cheated just now, including the cheating methods. Naruto's voice fell. Bang bang bang. Several figures stood up one after another. I cheated too. Me too. Those who got up were all on good terms with Naruto. There are Gaara and Sasuke who sign contracts, and there are Inuzuka teeth who owe him favors. What Naruto didn't expect was that Neji also stood up. For some unknown reason, could it be that the damage caused by breaking the defense was so great? It seems that I will have to ask when I find time later. And the acknowledgement of these people also brought about a chain reaction. Kankuro is afraid of Gaara, Ino likes Sasuke, listens to Neji every day, Yumi Shino is Ya's teammate, and these people all stood up. There were not many people present, but after these people stood up, a deeper reaction chain was created. Anyway, I don't guarantee that I can answer the 10th question correctly. I also admit to cheating, so I won't take the test. Come back next time. I don't want to gamble on the future. Yes, I won't take the test. I have never seen such a rule. Twice a year, there are plenty of opportunities. Take the exam, the uncle is gone, and I won't serve you anymore. People in other villages felt that Konoha was targeting him, and the ninjas in Konoha's own village followed Naruto. This time, it can be said that everyone stood up. Naruto never expected such a reaction. In fact, it is true that he is worried about entering the interrogation team, but it does not mean that he is really afraid. Even with Nine Tails Jinchuriki's identity, the village will not let him touch too many high-level secrets. After all, there are too many variables, at least for now, he still can't be trusted. What's more, with Kakashi as a big brother sitting in charge, he is not afraid of interrogating the force's coercive dignitaries. What's more, now that Naruto is in the body, no matter how bad it is, he can leave Konoha. The area is very ninja, so it is not enough for him to tremble with fear. He said all the cheating methods, in fact, he was unbalanced in his heart. To be honest, he really felt that Kankuro's puppet and Tenten's ninja tools were too obvious, like a PY transaction. The Invigilator can detect other people, why can't they detect these 2 tricks? Pointing out these people is just to keep Morino Ibiki from coming down. His principles have not changed since before. People who treat him well, he will go back even better. But those who treat him badly, he will pay back 100-fold. If Morino Ibiki hadn't stepped down to question him today, he wouldn't have made it this far. It's just that the matter has come to this point, it is useless to say more. Boom. Naruto stood up, waved his hand and said, "This teacher has great power, he can do whatever he says. Can't we afford to mess with him? Can't we hide? Let me tell you, don't take the exam, anyway, there is still a chance in the second half of the year." Quote. But according to my investigation, the Zongan assessment is to balance the strength of each ninja village. This teacher cleared all the first assessments, making everyone unhappy, and all ninja villages will not be happy. I don't know if he will have a chance to be elected as an assessment teacher again. In my opinion, there will be no chance. Next time, we can have a happy assessment, what do you think? Naruto's every word Zushin touched the hearts of all candidates. Although most people know that this assessment is to test everyone's ability to steal information, Morino Ibiki dominates the rules in an absolute self-styled way, which makes these 12 or 13-year-olds very unhappy. The other examiners are strict and will not be so self-assertive. To put it bluntly, what is the difference between this and the 4th Mizukage Yakura who turned Kurigakure village into the blood mist? Let's go, let's go. We don't want to be angry. Naruto waved and walked out of the classroom first. Susu, Gaara, Sasuke, Inuzuka Kiba, Neji, etc. got up one after another, and their companions also walked out of the classroom. Naruto's approach was the same as Morino Ibiki's psychological warfare, but it was counterproductive and took all the candidates out of the classroom. In just 1 minute, only Morino Ibiki and the proctors were left in the classroom. Ah, what should I do? The invigilator asked. This was the first time he had seen this phenomenon in his many years of invigilation. Interesting kid, how dare you make trouble for me? The corners of Morino Ibiki's mouth rose slightly. He didn't know if he was smiling back from anger, or he thought of something happy. Anyway, Naruto who left the classroom is not clear. All he knew was that Morino Ibiki would have a headache next time. Play, just play a big one. If you make a fuss, you will make a fuss. As for the consequences. As the saying goes, the law does not blame the public, and the exam questions designed by Morino Ibiki have loopholes. If there is a problem, what does it have to do with him? Then what's next? After leaving the classroom, Sasuke asked. Naruto twitched his lips, turned around and said to the candidates, the exam is still to be taken, otherwise you have come all the way from the village, and you feel a little unbalanced. Let's sign together, go to Hokage-sama, and apply for a re-examination. What do you think? How? As soon as this remark came out, no one objected. After all, if there is a chance, who wants to wait another half a year? Especially the candidates who were eliminated early. When they heard that there was a chance to start again, they raised their hands in agreement. It's not enough to rely on our strength alone. The respective teams go back to the teacher leader, and their words are more effective. Naruto continued to encourage. There are many people in strength, and it is easy to do anything. Even if the old man of the 3rd generation does not want to agree, there is nothing he can do. After all, it is related to other ninja villages. It is good. All the candidates agreed, although they still had distrust and a sense of distance between each other, but it was much better than the initial tension. Doing one thing together, or this big event of leaving the field collectively and overthrowing the examiner, if it is done, each of them will leave a deep mark in the history of Chunin assessment. Just thinking about it makes everyone feel excited. After they dispersed, Naruto also took Sasuke and Sakura to find Kakashi. On the way, Naruto was concerned about another matter. It's not a future plan, nor is it the Chunin assessment, but the system reward he signed in just now. It is detected that the host stays in the first examination room for 1 hour, and the check-in is successful, and the pinhole camera 1 will be rewarded. Pinhole camera. Chakra is fully charged once, it can be used for a month, and the host can share the camera's angle of view synchronously, regardless of the distance. The first examination room is full of cheating, especially Gaara's third eye as a monitor. It seems that this reward comes from this. This is the first time Naruto has obtained this type of support item. Although there is no super aggressiveness, Naruto can't put it down, and he likes it very much. This pinhole camera is as thin as a cow's hair, and it won't attract attention wherever it is placed. If it is placed in the female ninja's boudoir, it will be exciting to think about. Feast your eyes on spiritual food is also very important. Of course, Naruto is such an upright person, how could he be so flirtatious? He is purely for learning, mastering other people's cultivation habits, and even discovering many secrets. Believe it or not, Naruto himself believed it anyway. How about it? Did you go well with the exam? Seeing the Naruto trio walking towards them, Kakashi had a smile in his eyes. Although Morino Ibiki is the examiner of the first assessment, he believes that the strength of the 3 of them is absolutely fine. Not smooth. Naruto waved his hand and signaled, Sakura, you come. Sakura nodded, and recounted what happened in the examination room from beginning to end, without any embellishment. Hearing this, Kakashi was stunned. Ah, you guys are really good. Kakashi held back for a long time and let out a long sigh. Taking the lead in asking all the candidates to leave the venue without saying anything, and asking to restart the Chunin assessment. This is really messing up. I understand the matter. I have no problem submitting the application. But I think it is difficult to pass the application. Kakashi thought. Naruto was a little puzzled. Why can't you pass? The Chunin assessment has its unique rules, which cannot be changed casually. Kakashi explained. Hehe, it's rules. Naruto laughed immediately. Since it is a rule, it is made by people. Rules are dead, but people are alive. What people make can be changed. Kakashi shook his head and said, this involves various ninja villages, and it cannot be explained clearly in a few words. I say this just to prepare you mentally. I know you mean well, but just look at it, it's all right. Naruto waved his hand, extremely confident. In fact, listening to Kakashi's words, he felt a little uncomfortable. This reminded him of when he was at school in his previous life. Whenever cleaning was needed, the teacher would say, the school is your home, and you should take good care of it. But once you make a mistake, you will say again, you thought the school was your home. From then on, Naruto knew very well that the rules are made by people. The strong make the rules, and the weak follow the rules. As long as you have enough voice, you can change any rules. This joint letter, if all candidates can persuade their leading teacher to sign, no matter how tough the attitude of the three generations is, they will not provoke public outrage. Soon, Naruto got Kakashi's signature. After saying goodbye to Kakashi, Naruto asked Sakura to disband first, and he took Sasuke back home. Naruto, tell me what you think. Sasuke didn't care about other things, he only cared about Naruto's plan. Naruto took out a pen and paper to write and draw, and after a while, he collapsed on the seat and said, we are in Konoha, we have been under the surveillance of other people, you can more or less notice it, I think it is also time to leave Konoha. Leaving Konoha, then where do I go? Sasuke hesitated. He naturally knew that he was being watched, so no matter what he did, he had reservations. But even so, he never thought of leaving Konoha. He was already alone, and if he left Konoha, it would only be more difficult for him. Naruto took out the servant contract, turned to the first page, pointed to the photo on it and said, this is Orochimaru, my first servant. After leaving Konoha, you go to his place. What? Orochimaru? Sasuke was very surprised. When I was in ninja school, I told about the history of Orochimaru. This Orochimaru is a big shot, and he is rated as one of the 3 ninjas by the ninja world. Whether it is strength or talent, he is an elite among the elites, but hasn't Orochimaru defected to Konoha long ago? How did Naruto meet Orochimaru and accept Orochimaru as a follower? So, aren't you stronger than Orochimaru? Sasuke couldn't believe it. Don't worry about it so much, just say you're going or not. Naruto asked sternly. Sasuke is not strong enough right now, so there is no need to let him know so many things, so that he can concentrate on improving his strength. Go, of course. Sasuke nodded heavily. With Orochimaru, he can achieve better growth, which is beyond doubt. Okay, since you choose to go, I will contact Orochimaru later. After thinking for a while, Naruto added, let me give you a vaccination first. It takes a lot of hard work to go to his place, but I hope you don't give up halfway. As a reward for you, when you learn something and reach as far as Orochimaru is satisfied, I will tell you how to get higher level Sharingan, and I will also tell you about Itachi. It is good. Sasuke was so excited that he could get the news of Itachi. He has already made up his mind that no matter how hard it is, he will grit his teeth and carry it through. He never dared to forget about revenge. Excited for a while, Sasuke asked, Naruto, what's your next plan? I still have some things to deal with. After finishing, I will leave Konoha. Naruto took out the paper he had just painted on and handed it to Sasuke. Look at this, it's what you need to pay attention to. Naruto exhorted. For the future plan, it is to sign in and check in everywhere, and there is nothing to say. The paper he scribbled on just now is the most important thing right now, and the content he wrote is about the upcoming Chunin assessment. Before leaving Konoha completely, he has to be monitored by Konoha all the time, and he must be careful in every move. He was negligent before, forgetting that the Chunin assessment required a group of 3. Next, he can't take it lightly and forget more details. Knowing the plot, if he can still make low-level mistakes and cause the boat to capsize in the gutter, it will be too embarrassing for the Traverser. He couldn't get over that hurdle in his own heart. After spending an hour, Naruto told Sasuke verbatim the points that needed attention. By the time Sasuke fully understood, it was already dark. Okay, that's about it, let's go gather. Naruto looked at the time and urged. When they disbanded in the examination room, they asked all candidates to gather in the examination room PM and submit their signatures. By the time Naruto Sasuke joined Sakura and arrived at the examination room, it was already at time. The examination room at this moment is still the same as before the afternoon examination, overcrowded. The only difference is that the malice on everyone's faces is much less, and many people have even chatted with each other. Clap. Naruto clapped his hands, and after concentrating everyone's attention, he said, "It's getting late, let's stop talking nonsense. Each ninja village will send a representative to collect the signatures of the candidates from each village, and I will bring them with you later. Representatives go to see Hokage-sama. There are so many people, and Hokage's office is so small, it's too crowded to go all the way, and there are too many people talking, so it's not good to have any more disputes. The representatives that each village can send are at least those who are capable in that village, and they are better at negotiating. There are 30 sand ninjas, 21 rain ninjas, 15 grass ninjas, 12 taki ninjas, 72 Konohas, and 3 sound ninjas. There are 153 candidates in total, and 6 representatives were sent. Konoha has the most ninjas, but they are surprisingly not arguing. They agree with each other and choose Naruto as the representative. As a Konoha ninja, no one wants to offend Hokage-sama. As the initiator of this matter, Naruto has a lot of debts, and he is not bad for this scapegoat. After the representatives collected their signatures, Naruto waved his hand and said, "Let's go, for our Chunin assessment." Rush rush. The moon is dark and the wind is high, killing night. The breeze was blowing, and it was a little cold. Of course, this is Konoha, no one will cause trouble, kill people. It's just a joke. However, the faces of the few people standing outside Hokage's office were more or less tense. It is unprecedented for a group of 12 or 13-year-olds to file a petition to apply for a new Chunin assessment. If their legs are not trembling, it is already very good. Relax, there's nothing to be nervous about. I'll tell you later, you just agree and nod. If there are no accidents, this matter will be fine. Naruto cheered the 5 people in front of him. Okay, I trust Naruto-kun. Gaara, as the representative of Sand Ninja, doesn't have too much emotion on his face. Among these people, he is also the calmest. The other 4 didn't speak, but they all nodded heavily. Clap clap clap. Naruto walked over, patted everyone on the back, and injected a trace of Nine Tails chakra at the same time. With a fiery and violent feeling, it forcibly interrupted the tension of several people. This is the same principle as hiccups that stop when people suddenly startle them. Seeing that several people returned to normal, Naruto knocked on the wooden door of the office and walked into Hokage's office first. However, before Naruto could speak, the 3rd generation wearing a bamboo hat took the lead in muttering, "Naruto, I know about your affairs, you can reformulate and reopen the Chunin exam." Ah, this. Naruto was slightly taken aback, and after recovering, he bowed slightly, "Thank you Hokage-sama, then we will take our leave." Without saying much, he left Hokage's office after leading everyone to salute. Great, I didn't expect it to be so easy. It's like a dream. We have created the history of Chunin assessment. Several representatives were extremely excited and gave Naruto thumbs up again and again. Naruto responded with a smile, but Gaara found that Naruto was only smiling. Before he could ask, Naruto signaled with his eyes not to talk too much. Seeing this, Gaara said, "I'll go back first and tell the good news to Sand Ninja's companions." The others nodded repeatedly and dispersed. Seeing everyone leave, Naruto shot something as thin as a cow's hair through the crack of the door into Hokage's office, and then left quickly. Along the way, he had a bright smile on his face that couldn't be brighter, but his heart was already full of waves. He's not happy, but tears are rolling in his stomach. I thought it would take several hours of debate to barely finalize the matter. After all, as Hokage, the 3rd generation still has to live in face. But such a decisive promise, even the promise of an unknown prophet, is strange. Even if Morino Ibiki told the 3rd generation everything, Morino Ibiki himself didn't know about the plan, so how could he know that Naruto and others signed it together? Just now, Naruto saw the crystal ball on the table for the first time, and the picture inside was still the corridor outside Hokage's office. Obviously, the old guy has been monitoring him for 3 generations. The most important thing is that Naruto doesn't know when the 3rd generation started monitoring him. If it started in the afternoon, then the conversation between him and Sasuke must have been seen, and if it had been earlier, the meeting between him and Dashimaru the day before yesterday would also have been discovered. The more he thought about it, the more Naruto panicked. He was very worried that everything about him would be exposed by the 3rd generation. How can this be good? Naruto was thinking in his heart, when a breeze blew by, slightly cold. Kindness. Why is this line somewhat familiar? No way. Could it be that the dark moon and the high wind really killed the night? Naruto shook his head, not thinking about it. He slowly closed his right eye, and his optic nerve was instantly connected to the pinhole camera that was left in Hokage's office just now. I saw that in the empty Hokage office, Sandai was looking at the crystal ball, and the image displayed in the crystal ball was Naruto. I tricked him into a monkey, this old hang is still watching me. Naruto couldn't help cursing in his heart, rolled his eyes, and walked back home quickly. I love to take a bath, my body is good. Walking into the bathroom, he turned on the shower and sang a bath song. However, his right eye has been closed tightly, observing the situation of the 3rd generation. Sandai sees him taking a bath, and Sandai turns the crystal ball to Naruto's entire house. Taking advantage of the opportunity, Naruto hurriedly used the shadow clone, and the shadow clone took a bath, while his main body was shrunk through the transformation technique and hid in the laundry tub in the bathroom. After showering for 5 minutes and turning off the shower, Naruto's shadow clone changed into a set of clean clothes and went to Haruno's house for dinner. Through the pinhole camera, Naruto saw that the screen of the crystal ball of the 3rd generation began to change. First, he looked around Naruto's room and found no one, and then monitored the shadow clone who left the house. Seeing this, Naruto's body came out of the washing tub with peace of mind, but his transformation technique was not released, and he still looked like a child. After turning out of the window, he went straight to Kusanagi candidate's residence. Not long after, he found the hotel and knocked on the door of Kusanagi examinee's room. "Where's the kid from?" Kusanagi, who opened the door, smelled of alcohol. "I'm looking for someone named Servant. Someone asked me to bring a message, please let me know." Naruto, who turned into a child, said. "Okay, wait a minute." Because he was able to participate in the Zonnin assessment again, the grass ninja was obviously overjoyed and didn't ask any more questions. He staggered back and shouted, "What servant? Go out for a while, there is a brat looking for you." Coming. As soon as the voice fell, a figure rushed out. She was a tall, dark-skinned woman. Seeing this person, Naruto's heart is settled. This is the grass ninja that Orochimaru pretended to participate in the Chunin assessment. "Little devil, where did you hear about the servant?" "I'm Naruto, come with me." Naruto lowered his voice. Hearing this, Orochimaru was slightly taken aback, then nodded, and followed Naruto soon. On the way, Orochimaru avoided being suspected, and also transformed into a child. He asked, "What's the matter, Naruto-kun?" Naruto said in a deep voice, "The old man of the 3rd generation is watching me with the crystal ball. I don't know how long he has been watching." "So it is." Orochimaru nodded slightly, lost in thought. He also knew that this matter was in serious trouble. After a moment of silence, he asked, "What are Naruto-kun's plans?" "There is an old saying that is good, the moon is dark and the wind is high, killing people on the night." Naruto took a deep breath and said the words with difficulty. There is no way. He thought of a lot of plans, but none of them could be realized. The only way to do it is to kill the 3 generations of seals. Also, Naruto had a bad childhood. Under the influence of their elders, children are unwilling to play with Naruto, and they are still alone at home. Combining Naruto's childhood with the identity of the son of the 4th Hokage, you will find a huge contrast. The son of a hero is regarded as a monster. Even though the 3rd generation, as Hokage, can only sacrifice the ego to fulfill the big ego, there are unavoidable reasons. But no matter what, it is a fact that the 3 generations have not rehabilitated him for so many years. It is precisely because of this that he doesn't have any good feelings for the third generation, he just thinks this old thing is hateful. Hearing this, Orochimaru murmured, "Kill, let's kill. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more."